There are few bigger tickets in Australia's big ticket capital than Sydney versus Collingwood. For a big city which loves its bright lights, they come out in their thousands to watch whenever these two clash. And they always give a show to remember. So with the stage set for another blockbuster, Australia's premier party town is once again ready to rock and roll.
70,000 fans at Telstra Stadium on a Saturday night. This is a massive game for both clubs. As a player, this is what you play footy for, nights like this.
What will this come down to tonight? Will Sydney's hard-nosed pros have too much nous for the raw-bone Maggies?
They're on their way.
Will the Swannies, Mr. Smooth, conjure a winning strategy?
Brilliant goal. Left kick is not bad.
Or will the irascible Mickey Malthouse counter with a trick or two of his own?
From there is a chance. It's a big chance.
Will Spider pound his underman foes?
He has kicked it.
Or will Collingwood's iron will prevail in another thriller?
This could be one of Magpies' advantages from the start.
Chances are, more than all of that though, that tonight's result might just hinge on the deeds of two men. One, Barry Hall, out of touch like rarely before. The other, Agony Rocker, whose leadership is needed now in the absence of others. Talisman both, towers of strength.
For the goal of the night.
Kicks Cooley. To them, their teammates will turn tonight.
Here they
In their hands, off their boots, does this game's destiny ultimately rest?
Yes, big man, a big game. Just about everything about this now established mid-season fixture between Collingwood and Sydney is big, including the venue, Telstra Stadium, which of course was the main stadium for Sydney's Olympic Games just under 7 years ago. The stakes tonight are big too. For Sydney it's simple, win and they're fourth, lose and they're 10th. For Collingwood, a win would secure fourth spot, a loss would have them in the 8 by just the skin of their teeth. And there's a big story within the story as 19-year-old Ulsterman Martin Clark of County Down makes his debut for Collingwood when less than a year ago this funny game with a funny-shaped ball was completely foreign to him. For more on that, let's go inside Telstra Stadium and say good evening to Anthony Hudson.
Yes, thank you, Tim. They were devastated to lose him in County Down in Ireland, but Collingwood are thrilled with the way Martin Clark has adapted. And what a night to make your debut. Number 43 for Collingwood. On a huge night, as Tim and Luke have already said, Robert Walls, it gets better and better every year. Last year, Collingwood won. It was a thrilling night.
Yeah, it's a big night here, Hunter, no doubt about that. Two big power forwards, Hall and Rocker, and of course the young Irishman making his debut. It'll be a night he never forgets.
And both those big forwards out of form too in the last couple of weeks, so they'll be fired up. Lots of Collingwood supporters on the plane coming up, and plenty of Swans fans here in their red and white.
Well, they say 10,000 Magpie supporters have made the trip to Sydney, and when you come to see a game at Telstra Stadium, all you see is red and white. The Sydney supporters love to wear the colours.
Well, lots of injuries for the Magpies. We know that in defence. We'll talk about that a little more as the night goes on, no doubt. But they're ready, they're fired up. They've got a pretty good contingent up forward. As we mentioned, Anthony Rocker's been struggling for form. He'll be looking for a huge one tonight.
Well, he will, Anthony. It was a pretty dismal performance against Melbourne, but he's a proud man. Shane Wakeland got a massive job tonight to lead that Collingwood backline with Heath Shaw. They've got 4 of their best defenders missing the Magpies, so this will be a tough night for them. But the spirit of Collingwood under Mick Malthouse in the last couple of seasons has been magnificent.
And look, they've had a very good year, haven't they? We know about the injuries. Nathan Buckley, who we'll hear from soon, he's been out all year, but Mick Malthouse has coached superbly, I reckon.
He has, and we see Maxwell there, number 27. I really like the form of Nick Maxwell. He's courageous. He's a young veteran in that team. He'll have to stand up tonight. Scotty Burns as well. And, of course, Lucuria coming back into that Collingwood team, that'll certainly help.
Well, it is amazing when you take a close look at the difference in games played by the defence of the Collingwood team tonight. You talked about young Cox and Goldsack and Stanley. They struggled against Melbourne, and that's obviously going to be a factor. But if they can break even through the midfield, or maybe ever get an advantage, because they're the sort of midfield, the blue-collar midfield that might be able to break even or even better with Sydney.
It's a really good point you make. It's so important that Collingwood's rucks do well. Josh Fraser needs to put in a big one. They need to win the clearances, which will be hard against Sydney, because that's an area in which the Swans dominate. But if there's plenty of ball going against that Collingwood backline, it will be very tough for that defence. Barry Hall, they say, is in the best condition that he's been in since the start of the season. He injured his knee early. He's had that week off to settle, and of course the big man, he's been down in form, and I reckon Barry is set for a boomer tonight.
Well, there's plenty of on-ground entertainment. The Magpies have been held up. Scotty Burns, he's in a fantastic career form. O'Brien there, Heath Shaw, missing his brother Reece. He's a huge out, of course. We're talking about the young defenders. Reece Shaw is one they'll miss. The Magpies onto the ground, and a bit of a mixed reception. The crowd really building up. They've always got plenty of fans here to support them, though.
Well, they're certainly getting stuck into them, aren't they? But it won't worry Collingwood. Even though they're young, they've got some experienced leaders in that team, like Burns and Lucuria, Anthony Rocker. And also, the young Collingwood players, even though some of them have only played 10 or 20 games, Collingwood play in front of big crowds at big venues, so they soon get the experience up.
A closer look at that advantage we were talking about for the Swans in their forward line. Here's the key four matchups from the teams as named on Thursday night. The total game. You take Wakeland and Barry Hall out. Look at that, 541 to 66. Amazing.
Yeah, well, it's amazing, isn't it? But of course, you have a look at O'Keefe and O'Loughlin, they're veterans. Barry Hall as well. But hey, it's a game of football, Hutto, and we saw that game last night. The young Richmond team, they came out and they certainly served it up to the Demons, and expect Collingwood to do the same tonight.
All right, we'll go upstairs now and get a closer look at the teams in just a moment. I'll tell you what, there is one change in the Sydney lineup, which Luke Darcy will tell us more about. Luke.
G'day, Hutto. Yeah, great to be up here on such a big occasion on Saturday night in Sydney. And having looked straight away at the Collingwood lineup from the start, they have been struck down really badly by injuries. As you mentioned, Hutto, at the start, they've got Danny Stanley and Shannon Cox down back, and they've only played 5 games between them. Wanted to highlight Paul Lucuria. Great to see him back in this side. I think their midfield can really match Sydney's midfield. It's done a great job in the past. As we have a look at the Sydney side, there is one late change, Hutto. The graphic had Nick Davis, a very important forward. He's out of the side. Heath Grundy comes in, so that levels the game out a little bit. Adam Goods is a real worry for me for Collingwood. I'm not sure who can match him up. They might go Scott Pendlebury, but that's going to be a big challenge for him. Back down to you, Hutto.
Thank you, Darsh. You can hear from the roar of the Swans and see on your screen that the Swans are out. They've won 8 of the last 10 games here at the Telstra Stadium, Wolsey, but Collingwood managed to beat them last time.
Yes, but Adam Goods, who's coming out amongst the leading group there, he set himself for a pretty good second half of the season. The big fella struggled in the first half. He had the angry pills in him. I think we'll see a different Adam Goods. Also, Peter Everett, his best game for Sydney, last match against Hawthorn.
Well, I guess the crowds, which are going to be huge tonight, they're still wondering about the Sydney Swans this year, aren't they? One minute we think they're back to last year's form, the next we're not so sure. Look at this, there's some rivalry outside the ground.
Well, when I came to the game, they were saying, make sure those boundary umpires have got their glasses on tonight.
All right, we'll take a break. We'll come back. We'll hear from Nathan Buckley and the bounce of the ball. It's not far away. It's Collingwood. It's Sydney. It's Saturday Night Football.
It's just about football's night of nights in Sydney. The Swans against the Magpies at Telstra Stadium. They're talking 60,000 plus. It's crisp. It's a little damp underfoot, but it's pretty good for football. It's good to have Nathan Buckley with us too, although it's not good for him because he'd love to be playing as he was last year. This is a big game, isn't it, for both teams? You got them last year. How did you go about it?
I think every Sydney Collingwood game in recent history has been tough and tight affairs, and there'll be a lot of clearances in tonight's game and stoppage situations. The Swans are very good in that position, and we believe we play some pretty good football in those zones as well. So it's going to be a challenge to make sure we reproduce.
You seemed to me to work hard at trying to spread them a bit last year, to break at every opportunity and not allow them to stop the game. Is that what you'll be on about again? Yeah,
well, I think a lot's been made of our young defence. So we want to make sure that we slow the Swans' ball movement down into their forward line, and I suppose we'll have strategies to try and counter that. And one of the best strategies is to make sure you get your hands on the ball. So we'll want to do that around clearances and get it forward so that we can defend from our forward line, if that makes sense, or score, one of the two.
Martin Clark, I felt goose pimples as I saw him run out there tonight. Inside a year from playing this game for the first time, he's representing Collingwood.
Yeah, it's a fantastic story for the young fella. He came across early last year. He trained with us for a little while and then went back home and had a decision to make whether he wanted to continue with it or not. And in 14 short games down at Williamstown, he's been able to come to the level where we feel that he's ready to play AFL, which is amazing, really. He was a star over there in Gaelic footy, and he's got a lot of ability, natural ability, and he's taken to the oval ball with aplomb.
We've got a few seconds left. When are we going to see you out there?
I'll be a couple of weeks more on the track, and then hopefully a couple of weeks after that. But it's been a slower process than I would have liked, but slowly and surely, hopefully.
Good luck in the box tonight.
Thank
Nathan
you.
Buckley, thank you for joining us. Let's go down to Boundary Side and say good evening to Neil Cordy.
Yes, hello Tim. Big night for football here in Sydney, and a big night for Richard Collis. He was awarded life membership to the AFL by Andrew Demetriou before the game tonight. He, of course, is the second longest serving commissioner in the, president in the AFL. Just been going since '93 when the Swans had won 3 consecutive wooden spoons. He's taken them through to a premiership, of course, in 2005. Conditions are, well, just about perfect. No breeze to speak of, but it is starting to get very cold, which of course means that it becomes very dewy, very slippery, and perhaps these are the sort of conditions that Martin Clark would enjoy, similar to back in Ireland. The crowd there hopeful tonight, perhaps even nudging the record of 72,000, which was set, of course, in the first fixture between these two teams back in '03. Back to you, Hutto.
Thank you, Cords, and nice to be upstairs with Robert Walls, Luke Darcy and Tim Lane on a cool night, as Cords talked about. There's Ben Johnson. He's tossing the coin tonight out in the middle.
Jeff's going to toss the coin, Ben. So it's going to be Ben's call, Jeff, so nice and high, thanks. Tails is called. And heads it is, Leo. Okay, righto. Good luck, mate. All the best.
So first advantage to the Swans, as you can see, kicking right of screen on a big night. That is a big out, Robert Walls and Luke Darcy. Nick Davis being out from the Swans forward line, given what we were talking about.
Well, it is when you consider that the weakness of the Magpies going into this game is their inexperienced defence, and it's something that Paul Roos would have loved to exploit with his experienced forwards in O'Loughlin, O'Keefe, Hall and Nick Davis. Snyder can kick goals, of course, but look, they can cover themselves pretty well here, and I would think that even though Nick Davis is out, he doesn't get a lot of the ball, but what he does, he kicks accurately, as do most of those Sydney Swans players. In fact, O'Loughlin 20 goals 5, Davis 13-3, Schneider 11-6 and Jolly 9-3. Hall 22-14, so they've been accurate, Hutto.
Yeah, they have been one of the most accurate teams in the comp. Bit different to Collingwood. Just, Das, your knowledge of the ruckman tonight, it's going to be a key feature when the clearances are so important. And Josh Fraser said during the week he thought these two are the most dangerous combination, Darren Jolly and Spider Everett.
Yeah, I think they just about are the best combination going around at the moment between Spider and Darren Jolly. I reckon Josh Fraser is the most important player for Collingwood tonight. He played really well in the corresponding game last year. I think he needs to almost chance his arm, run forward. He should aim to try and kick 3 or 4 goals tonight. He might have to cheat. He might have to push forward because goals are going to be hard to come by. He's a dangerous forward, Josh Fraser. He should run really hard. Hopefully he scores a few goals and gives Collingwood a big show.
All right, who are you tipping, guys?
I've gone for Sydney, Hutto, because they generally play well here, and it's about this time of the year that Sydney starts to get on a roll.
Sydney for me, Hutto. I just think the injuries to Collingwood will be too hard for them to cover tonight.
Tim?
Hard not to go, excuse me, for Sydney, Hutto, but don't underestimate Collingwood, who have done well in these now traditional matches here. They've always been close.
There's Martin Clark, the young Collingwood player from Ireland. He's starting on the field, and I think that's fantastic that Mick Malthauser says, get out there, young fella, get a feel for it, get a taste of it. What a game we've got in front of us.
So here we go, Sean Ryan with the first ball up with Dean Margetts and Michael Vozzo. It's a perfect bounce. We are underway and it's a clear win to Darren Jolly, although the possession might go Johnson's way for the Magpies. The kick semi-smothered, so that's no mark. O'Brien having to give it off in a hurry. Johnson having an outstanding season. Cool delivery there to Fraser, and the Magpies can make the first foray into their attacking half. And coming forward for them is Stanley, playing game number 2. Goldsack in his 5th, Clark in his 1st. Placing it to Fraser, taking it wide for Thomas.
Great start for Josh Fraser to get 2 early possessions on his opponent, Darren Jolly. He's really worked hard. He pushed lateral to the contest. Just exactly what he would have wanted. Darren Jolly's trying to get back to help the defence. He's a good kick for a ruckman, Josh Fraser. If you get the ball in his hands, he could be very important tonight.
Dale Thomas, you fancy, relishes the big stage. He's on one right now. It is in flight. It is not bad. It is good enough. And the Magpies have the first.
Important opening salvo to the Magpies.
That's the matchup we're all interested in. Shane Wakeland has the job on Barry Hall.
Swans haven't had a touch on the footy other than the Darren Jolly hit out the first time. There's Pendlebury getting involved. Kirk, who thrives on the rough and tumble in the middle. Fraser over the top.
High tackle, you had him in a headlock, Darren. You know, you got him high. Free kick. You have your arm around his neck, it's a high tackle.
Fraser wants to move it. That's an interesting decision, really, when you see a fair bit of that sort of stuff go on. Cloak's high ball. Thomas made the decision not to go. He did kick the goal.
No advantage. If you miss it, Dale, if you miss it, then there's no advantage. I've got to call it. No, you had no intent for the ball. You just used your body to nudge him up, nudge him flat. Come through now.
Nudge in the back. Umpire Sean Ryan has called. Didn't pay any advantage, even though Thomas kicked the goal. The umpire got it right. That's an early nudge in the back. It's definitely a free kick. Twice, Luke, when Collingwood have gone into their forward 50, they've kicked it to that half-forward flank where they've created space, and we saw Thomas lead into it, and this time it was Rocker. It's a set space area.
Just had the 2 disposals in the last game. It was a forgettable afternoon against the Demons, so he would love to have been able to convert there.
It's a disappointing result. Younger player was able to nail it from pretty much the same spot. Rocker is paid to kick those. The Swans are away and Dempster is after Hall, and he's got him with a perfect delivery. Hall for Schneider. And Clark stands the mark. Schneider has O'Loughlin 1 out. Goldsack did well, did extremely well, and the Magpies look as though they're going to get out of trouble. Lockyer having a wonderful year. Fraser well covered. Rather Cloak. Johnson, fleet of foot, full of confidence. Probes, it'll be tough here for Thomas, but he's got Davis as a handy lieutenant. You never know what he might do, and he very nearly did the lot.
Well, young Goldsack has got the job on Michael O'Loughlin. It's a one-on-one. He recovers the better. Little bit of a sidestep. Great composure by the youngster.
And what a boost for them, and the Swans literally on the back foot at the moment.
15, play on.
Barry from Kirk and now Bolton. They are really flustered, but they might just be a little at the moment. Out onto the wing, the Magpies taking the early points. Cloak, and this is Ablett. There was some doubt on his fitness, but he's out there. So is Richards and Matthews and Jolly. Cloak for the Magpies. They are ripping into everything at the moment and getting rewarded.
Just a huge team lifting tackle there, Hutto. I mean, the big man Jolly's tried to fend off, and Travis Cloak made the tackle stick. Geez, they're on at the moment. Collingwood, great start for them.
And he's got a mighty left leg, has Cloak. He doesn't go full bore at that one, and maybe he should have. It wasn't a great kick. It didn't give his fellow forwards much hope.
No chance.
And we're going to get a ball
Him up now.
Total disposals 18-8. And the inside 50's 4-1 at the moment. It's been domination in the opening 5 minutes by the Magpies.
Hold your blocking, eyes up.
Lucuria has Goods, which is an interesting matchup, conceding him a lot of centimetres. Goods just starting to run into his best form, it would seem. No easy takeaway here, and we might be headed for another ball up. The umpire being patient, but Dean Margetts concedes eventually. So early consternation for Swans fans, but they were a little slow out of the blocks against Hawthorn in the match before the break, and then they swamped the Hawks in the last 3 quarters. Stanley getting over it, but Goods has it. And now Fosdyke has it. Didak arriving hard. Goes for O'Loughlin, long way up the ground. Again, Goldsack is equal to the task. Heathshaw receiving from Burns. Now Pendlebury giving it back to Goldsack. A little casual with that. His opponent's got it now. Kirk just kneeing the ball forward. Heathshaw, important player in this game tonight with his pace and his confidence and skill. And Johnson's had it 3 or 4 times already.
And he'll be boosted by that. He's got a fairly poor record against Sydney. Rocker always in pole position there. And this time, if he can convert, the Magpies will be on a massive high.
Well, you just wonder what was going through Leo Barry's mind, because when that ball's kicked, Leo Barry, you can see in the picture there, he was 15 metres behind Anthony Rocker. Rocker knew he was coming, so he put the knee to protect himself. And that was pretty poor concentration by the Swan fullback.
22 goals, 22 for the season for Anthony Rocker. To get back on the right side of the ledger and, more importantly, give the Magpies they start they want.
And this is quite amazing. We can see Heathshaw there. His opponent is behind him, and that's Jolly back in the goal square. So a real mismatch there.
Both of these teams prefer to kick the ball than hand pass it. The Swans have only had 7 kicks so far. That might be about to change. Jude Bolton has their 8th, and it's a lovely ball for Ablett. The weight on it was absolutely perfect. Hall giving a lead, but he was too closely covered and the kick's poor. Lucuria making his return for Collingwood. He's polled Brownlow votes twice in the last 4 years in these games in Sydney. And Collingwood work it around to Didak.
Heathshaw has bolted 150 metres into the forward 50 for the Magpies, and Big Jolly's trailing you. How would you like that, Luke? Someone do that to you.
You'd actually want to belt Heathshaw at the moment, because it's smart play. I mean, Jolly just doesn't want to run 150 metres. Now Jolly's trying to take off back the other way, but Heathshaw looking at him saying, bad luck, Darren, come back and play full back on me now. That's a big win to Heathshaw. Well done.
Great creative thinking by Shaw, and he's saying to his mates, get out of the way, I'll run the big bloke around.
Everett rucking now, but straight to Lucuria. Tied up by Jude Bolton.
It's pretty clever, isn't it, for a young player? Hasn't played much footy. He summed it up really well. I mean, he didn't want to contest the other end of the ground. So look at him there. He's just run the length of the ground. That's clever play. Jolly had to come with him.
Fraser, and this is Kirk. They do need their leaders to lift, and here's one of the other key ones. But Wakelin, we talked a lot in the opener tonight about the 2 big men up forward, and so far it points to Anthony Rocker. Burns, another one of the veterans that's in fine form. O'Keefe's able to sneak in. Now, will we see the Swans stay positive, or will we see them just chip it around and try and get some feel for the footy? You certainly couldn't blame them, because they haven't had a lot so far. Bit of deja vu about this game at the moment. Last year, the Magpies were right out of the blocks for the opening 3 goals. Swans with an opportunity. Dempster, interesting attempt to handball. Lucuria, and his opponent for the night, Adam Goods.
Thanks, Adam. Go on, mate.
Well, big spider to do the ruck work now. Jolly's got himself back in the goal square for the Swans. He'll be happier there.
Fraser brings it to ground, and this is where the little men have got to go to work. Bolton, who's so good at cajoling it out of the middle usually, but you can see they're still being forced to go places they don't want to. Richards, still nothing really positive. Kirk, that was pinpoint, it had to be. And now maybe the Swans can go forward, but Magpies have got numbers back.
An easy receive for Brett Kirk, better known as a man who wins the hard footy over and over again. Has 2 men out wide. Coming with the flight is Barry. Having a tough time of it early on Rocker, but now they double team Rocker, and O'Keefe is smothered. Collingwood's 1% is outstanding early, and there's another one. Didak, terrific stuff. Craig Bolton though lobs it to the hot spot, almost with a good result. Here's young Clark, his first feel of the ball in the big time in Australia. O'Loughlin though steals it. Kirk again, but Burns makes the spoil. Now the big men battle close to the ground, and the little one arrives in Thomas, and he's quick enough and good enough, very good indeed, to get it to Burns.
He's got 2 big targets in front of him, Anthony Rocker and Cloak, who's now on the lead.
They are playing inspired football at the moment, the Magpies.
Got strong hands, Travis Cloak on the lead. He's got a great knack of taking those under pressure.
He's their leading inside 50 man. This time he's going to get some help from Ben Johnson, the captain tonight.
They make space there again, Hutto. They've made space out on that flank repeatedly.
Rocker's on.
This is the last one.
What a season from Heath Shaw, and again Rocker.
That's a magnificent build-up of about 4 passes. The space was made for the player to lead into the space near the boundary line. We saw 4 successive passes. It was really well done. They are a well-drilled team.
Well, Anthony Rocker just trying to work out the angle of attack here.
While Anthony's taking time to line up, the Swans have got 17 of their 18 players in the defensive 50 arc.
Well, you can see the angle. It is very tight, and it proves a little too much for Anthony Rocker. The Magpies are doing all the scoring at the moment and lead by 15.
3 set shots already for Rocker. That's a tough one. He's 19-15 from set shots for the year. Would want to do better than that. Now Malcheski delivers and finds Schneider. Sydney not yet on the board. There is a real urgency about Collingwood. Good delivery to Goods. Can't break though as Lucuria closes the gate. Loops it over the top to O'Keefe.
This is the next passage. A little short chip into the 50. They go for it all the time.
For Hall, but he couldn't hang on. Lockyer clears for Collingwood to space. And the line is a good result.
Tim, it's at the stage where Collingwood need to make the most of their opportunities because they've got a bit of control at the moment. They've had 5 scoring shots to 0, and they've only got the 2 goals on the board. So you've got to make hay while the sun shines. At the moment, they just haven't quite done that, the Pies.
Everett, this is Clark. Again, overwhelmed by numbers. Buchanan, who works hard at both ends of the ground like most Swans. Spider, needs someone to give them a lift at the moment. Dempster find the terrain pretty hard going out there. Slick work again. Initially by Shaw, then Fraser, then Holland. Goods has found a lot of the footy in defence this year. He's trying to attack now and get him deep. O'Loughlin, 2 to beat. And Maxwell, who's a fine spoiler, is doing what he does best and helping out in defence. And the Magpies start another attack. They like to bring it in quickly. It doesn't always work that well for them, but they are some of the quickest at bringing the ball back into play from kick-ins.
The last thing Fraser needed to do there was fall over. Didak kept it alive when the boundary line would have been safer, but Collingwood press on. Fraser in the Cloak direction. Well played by Richards. There was a lot of courage in there. There were balls and boots and heads and bodies.
I think he got a smack in the gob, Teddy Richards, but it doesn't matter. Rub it later.
He's a brave player. He's shown that more than once. Collingwood's attacking half, but not by much. Everett cleanly, and Goods collects just as cleanly. A little instep dab looked good, but there was no one there for it, and Maxwell sees it over.
Well, Nick Maxwell's playing loose man in defence at the moment. Hutto is dropping back in front of Barry Hall. I think they'll try and get someone loose in front of Barry at all stages tonight.
So throw in Everett and Richards. Richards back in. The Magpies, fair to say, I think their hierarchy still haven't worked out what the best rucking combination is. Bryan played last week. Richards in for... He's played 6 games for the Magpies. But he's back tonight. Matthews. Now Richards tries to find a path, but the Swans are just off colour a little bit, aren't they? Didak, O'Brien. There's an opening for him. Thomas is working into the space. He's on Malcheski, who's the prime mover in defence, and that would be worrying him right now. Leon Davis over Leo Barry, and Ted Richards had to do everything to get back.
Well, that scoring opportunity was set up by a fumble from Paul Bevan, and it's just the pressure Collingwood are putting on around the footy. It's unusual to see Swans players fumble. Collingwood have done a great job so far.
Wonder if they can sustain it all night. O'Keefe goes for Grundy here, and Grundy, good pace, was able to beat Stanley to the ball. Hall through Lockyer like an escape ball. Brilliant stuff from Hall, but he takes O'Loughlin a long way from goal, and he's running further away. But he's good enough to get himself set, and miss Barry Hall. He goes back for another dose. A wounded bull now.
An angry bull. he was like a bull at a gate, Tim. He had about 4 contests. Have a look at that.
You wouldn't want to be the gate, would you?
No, and he's gone the short pass to his mate O'Loughlin. O'Loughlin then went a short pass back to Barry, but it was just a metre over his head.
Richards and Everett. And again, Maxwell, who does that third man over the top so well. Mercuria, crafty work, and Maxwell, the danger has passed for the moment. Cloak again, working up, as you have to do these days from half forward to be a target. Holland gradually finding his feet after that extended spell. Thomas has been prominent so far. O'Brien just keeping it moving at all costs. Barry just waded through. Now he's got some problems. McVeigh enjoying a pretty good season. Malcheski. Richards. Jude Bolton. Finally some Swans hit the ground running. Schmidt. Schneider. Even that was hurried though. Haphazard into the forward line. Suits the defenders just fine. Well done though by Dempster and Buchanan, but look at that. Aimless effort. And Heathshaw, who's almost the young captain of the defence, made it tough for his more senior man in Wakeland and Everett, and now Hall. Back for Everett. Jeez, just nothing systematic at all, is there? That was a good handball from Clark. Lockyer had plenty of work to do. This is Cox, back in the team this week. And it looks like a ball.
Gee, Collingwood are defending really well. How many times have we seen Sydney try to get the short pass into their forward 50? That's something they've been sensational at over the last few years. To this stage of the game, they've just had one mark inside their forward 50, Sydney. Collingwood's had 3.
They've hit the opposition with their deliveries just about every other time. Everett, no escape from him there. And Richards for Collingwood gets it off, and the Magpies are away to Thomas, who has been covering a lot of territory. He's been very good. He's been a focal point up forward.
It's a big time, isn't it, at the moment? You know what, the Swans, they'll keep coming and they'll grind. They did it to Hawthorn. Hawthorn got this jump start. Collingwood really need to capitalise while they're on top, I reckon.
Everyone is up for this. You can see it in Mick Malthouse's body language. It's a big, big game. Free kick to Jude Bolton now. It's Collingwood by 15 points, 6 shots to 1. Again, they've turned the ball over as they've gone forward. Cool stuff, Lockyer. Holland, a little wayward there, makes Guy Richards work, but Lockyer's there in support. Thomas in an aerial contest here with Malcheski. Clever. Oh, and a good collect by Didak, and a very clever kick. Rocker bringing it down. That was good. Lucuria now. Good work by Collingwood putting it together. Thomas just could not quite get it to Cloak, and Sydney hold up. Matthews to Barry. It was desperate for the Swans there for a moment. Schmidt now giving it off. The Swans still under pressure. Matthews again. Now Fosdyke. And finally they're away.
Doesn't have the fluency though, does it, of the Swans when they're at their best.
Just not hitting targets, Sydney, and part of that's because of the pressure applied by Collingwood, who've been just terrific in this first quarter.
In fact, their efficiency is at 50% in their disposals by foot. I think that is amazingly low. Collingwood at about 80%. So again, it comes down to whether they can sustain it. But at the moment,
yeah, have a look at that. That is un-Sydney-like.
It's just dropped to about 48.
It has. Now we get a chance to have a look at the footwork of young Clark. And unfortunately, it's out of bounds on the full. So
Peter Everett came off after his first spell in the ruck, and I think he's going to die.
Let's hope not, Rob.
Well, he's exhausted.
So Sydney's ball, but to a contest. The marker's not paid. Gee, it didn't look like a bad share of it.
I felt he got a hand in there first.
Jude Bolton in the midst of it. Have another look. You can see where the umpire was coming from. O'Brien well tied up by Matthews, and that's out on the full. So Sydney's pressure perhaps just starting to nibble at Collingwood as they put it out on the full twice.
50
against Holland. Off the ground, he's been interchanged, and he made contact there with Luke Ablett, preventing his progress to the ball. And here it is. Ablett going to get up the footy.
Happy just to block the ball when he went on the ground, so that's 50.
Too smart by half. It puts Ablett well within range.
And Mick Malthouse will be fuming.
Their only score so far was a rush behind. They now have a goal, courtesy of Ablett. The margin is 9 points.
could imagine what Mick would have thought of that. Brodie Holland not on the ground, gives away a 50-metre penalty and a goal. And yes, last week we had a free kick against a runner.
15.
Today against the interchange player. What next? The Magpies, though, undaunted. Burns, look at Davis come. Oh, he crashed and hit it hard. Rolls reversed then, wasn't it? Rocker with the roving. And Davis was the flyer. Swans, though, still not hitting targets. Richards, Hoppo-Bumpo stuff. Bevan, better watch out, Leo. Malcheski, he's usually stylish with the footy. And that's pretty good too.
Brilliant kick.
Buchanan recovering pretty quickly when he knew there was no 50. Had to get to his feet. So the Swans with a bit more motion about their play.
One-on-one in the Sydney forward line.
Dempster for McVeigh. Shaw trails him. Now, lots of numbers just inside the 50, so it goes shorter than that for Buchanan. Goods is in the goal square, which is interesting. One-on-one, he's deep. That might be a target. No, it goes shorter. Schmidt and also O'Keefe. Well done, O'Keefe and Grundy, and now Goods in the thick of it. Just didn't get enough purchase. It was tight to handle back there for Goldsack. But he's done the job okay.
Awkward moment for him there. The bounce looked as though it could go anywhere, but he got the lot behind it.
This will be an exhausting game because we're seeing players run en masse from one 50-metre arc to the other.
Goldsack again providing a short target for Dane Swan. Collingwood prefer to kick longer. Confident stuff from Goldsack. He's made an auspicious start to the night. High ball, a bit too high for anyone's liking, but Cloak had a shot at it. It'll be thrown in.
Great thing to see a young player. He's only a teenager, Tyson Goldsack, but as you get older, you just don't even try those sort of things. You probably put that away, but it's good to see a young player backing himself in, and it's coming off very well for him at the moment.
Travis Cloak with 7 disposals, leading the Magpies.
Jolly probably should have left that for Matthews. And Collingwood's Richards gets it to Cloak. Delayed before giving it off. Cox had a good look and went for Rocker. That might be a late push. Gee, that was a bigger push than the earlier one in the marking contest.
Time and again, the Magpies have gone to that forward flank area. So the forwards know where they're going to lead. They hold their leads and then they finally break into space, knowing it'll be kicked there.
Yes, the replay showed the push wasn't in the back, it was in the side, which was permissible. Barry, well tackled. Support from Kirk and Schneider. Just bumping the kick out of trouble, but they'll be back in trouble now. Burns, long ball. Pendlebury did it well. Outboxed a bigger, more experienced man. And is right in front.
Well, you're right, Tim. And Craig Bolton, one of the best defenders in the game, just put off balance. He knew what he was doing, young Scott Pendlebury. And we are looking at a player who in the next decade will be a star.
He had an All-Australian to beat. He did it comprehensively, and he finished the job with Collingwood's third goal.
It's been good.
He's the favourite for the NAB Rising Star and didn't do his chances any harm there. Scott Pendlebury. And the Magpies doing their chances no harm either. It's back to 15. Jolie with the big spike. Grundy knocked off the ball. Kirk. Hall from behind. It's pretty hard going out there to hold your feet. Hard for Adam Goods even. Heath Shaw may have got one high. Play on. Stanley applying the big lasso there on Grundy. Magpies numbers at the back. Clark. Johnson was a little flat-footed and had to hurry the disposal, but no harm done. Kirk looked over his shoulder and found Scott Burns right there.
Scotty Burns is having an absolutely sensational season. Leading from the front, he's hard, he's tough, he's skillful. And without Nathan Buckley, he's gone up another notch.
Craig Bolton over the footy here. Jolly now at ground level. Might have got in Matthews' way. Sydney free kick.
He's entitled to bend down and get the footy.
Watch him scrape me though.
Yes.
Free kick's 4-3.
Just time for a little complaint from O'Brien about the treatment he's getting from Matthews.
Now Fosdyke into the 50. And Hall. Oh, he did everything right, but hang on to the mark. Wakeland holding it together back there pretty well. Ben Johnson Possession number 7. And that's a fine mark by Paul Lucuria, who of course started his AFL career in Sydney. O'Brien, long ball, Davis. Oh, what a beauty.
Paul Roos will be very disappointed with that attempt by Bevan and the attempt before by Craig Bolton. Paul Roos coming down, and Collingwood's getting the marks in the forward 50. Big Barry gets one right on the chin. I think it's courtesy of the football.
That is what is known as a timely mark. It was taken in the last 10 seconds of the quarter.
Kicks so accurately this year, Leon Davis.
A big kick for Collingwood for a 21-point lead. He misses, and the Magpies have to be content with 16 points. But it's been a very impressive opening quarter by the visitors, the underdogs.
Yeah, it certainly has, Tim. And there just seems to be some sides that match up well against other sides. And Collingwood, they just seem to do a great job against Sydney. Their pressure skills from the start were just fantastic. Some of the tackling, some of the second efforts are outstanding. Getting the ball inside 50 really well. We've got a great game on our hands.
We have a big challenge for the Swans coming up. Stay with us on Saturday Night Football.
To the chorus. Come here, girl. Go ahead, be gone with it. Come to the back. Go ahead, be gone with it. VIP. Go ahead, be gone with it. Drinks on me. Go ahead, be gone with it. What you twerking with? Go ahead, be gone with it. Look at those hips. Go ahead, be gone with it. You make me smile. Go ahead, be gone with it. Go ahead, child. Go ahead, be gone with it. Get your sexy out. Go ahead, be gone with it. Get your sexy out. Go ahead, be gone with it. Get your sexy out. Go ahead, be gone with it. Get your sexy out. Go ahead, be gone with it. Get your sexy out.
On a fine, cool night in Sydney, the big crowd are a little stunned at the moment by what they see. Collingwood 3-5-23 to Sydney 1-1-7. Those shots coming to you from the roof of the Novotel Hotel in the heart of Sydney Olympic Park. And the crowd really quietened by what they saw in that first quarter. The Magpies were sensational. And Paul Roos, like all of us, I think, trying to work out just how good this Sydney team of 2007 is. It's been a frustrating year for him so far, and clearly, boys, a frustrating opening quarter as well.
He'd be frustrated that his defenders are being beaten easily in one-on-one marking contests, and he'd be frustrated that they've only taken one mark inside their forward 50.
All right, Neil Cordy down on the boundary. You've got a special guest with you, Cords.
Yes, I know. I'm feeling very safe right now because I have Lieutenant General Peter Leahy with me. And Peter, we know historically of the involvement through Anzac Day that the armed forces have with football, but why have the Army in particular got involved with the AFL now?
Well, we see another great Australian institution, an institution that's been around a long time, but is iconically Australian, and one that all Australians can be proud of. And that's the way we'd like to think people think of the Australian Army as well.
And you're sponsoring a special award. Can you tell us about that?
We're sponsoring an award that will run all year. It's to identify the most courageous player, the player who makes a difference. It's a guy who's got the 1%er, someone with inspirational leadership who can turn the event. And these players train hard. Our soldiers train hard, and we'd like to think that they're doing the same sort of thing.
The 1%ers, I'd say, who would you have in front of the 1%ers? The Collingwood players at the moment?
Oh, I think I'd better be pretty neutral here tonight. I'm actually a Cat supporter, and here with Collingwood and the Swans, I think I'll keep quiet.
Peter, thanks for your time. I think no doubt about it, the Magpies certainly would be leading in the 1%ers at the moment.
Thanks, Cords. What a good man.
There's a shot of Adam Goods. He's played every second of this game so far. Instead of coming off the ground, Paul Roos is putting Goods deep into the forward line.
So, second quarter, and will the situation change? We'll find out, but the Magpies hope it continues, and that's the way it looks at the moment. Pendlebury, who took that wonderful mark. Rocket didn't get to the contest that time.
Barry, no eyes for the footy, Anthony. Free kick.
And you heard the explanation.
You can't make contact. Doesn't matter if it's soft down there, it's a free kick. Play on.
Special comments from Dean Margetts as...
Hold there, Paul.
Now it's Brett Kirk.
Don't hold a block, guys. Don't hold a block. Let him run, let him run, let him run.
Play on, play on, play on.
Now Malcheski comes from behind to help out. And again, the Swans just not seeing the fluency that we're used to, or at least the run up the field to be able to hit their targets.
Geez, they've done that well, Hutto. That's Sydney's best part of their game. They play tempo footy, they hit the ball down the line really well, and Collingwood have manned them up, forced them to play on, which they don't want to do, and that's putting the Sydney players under more pressure than they're used to.
Fraser and Everett. Here's Clark. Now Cox. Didak and Thomas. He read that beautifully, Dale Thomas.
Hold it there, Nick. Nick right there.
Davis is back in the square.
Played on.
Yeah.
the mark, throw it in.
He went off the direct line.
Here, and you actually took off down here, so it's play on and went forward to the mark.
The umpire's right.
Throw in. Just go back. It's
technical,
okay, just went forward.
It's got to be a straight line. When you're outside the boundary line, you've got to go in a straight line towards the goals.
Mate,
he's broken there 2 or 3 steps, therefore he's played on, and the umpire calls it out of bounds, which is right.
Yeah, good replay there. Everett, Ruck, Rove, and kick. And it's not a bad kick either for Goods. It was just right. Well played, Spider. A dual Brownlow medalist now. Try and start building something for Sydney. That's a nice looking ball, but it's too strong for McVeigh, and it's good for Cloak, who isn't a whole lot better with that effort. Barry's got it, wants to get back onto the left, and Thomas has got in. That is holding the ball. He let it go. Davis wanting to play on, but isn't allowed to because it's not his kick.
Now Cordy at ground level. That ground's slipperier than we think.
Yeah, we just saw Leo Barry go over there. It's getting wetter by the minute. It's very, very chilly and the juice coming out.
Johnson for Rocker, but important hand in there from Ablett, deflecting it away for a behind.
Just another great tackle, though, from Dale Thomas on a bigger opponent, Leo Barry. Their tackle and pressure skills are just absolutely right on tonight, and it's what's got them the lead, and can they keep it up? That's the big question.
Now, the Swans have got the huddle, but they've broken too early because the player with the footy, Malcheski, was still picking it up out of the gutter.
He likes to wait and find his man, Malcheski, when he kicks in. He went for McVeigh and also Bolton, but you can see the result. Burns is going to make Malcheski work as a defender, and Rocker timed his run superbly, and he got as close to goal so he couldn't miss.
A brilliant goal by Rocker. Collingwood's lead 23 points, and Paul Roos just about speechless. 10 scoring shots to 2. Collingwood's pressure illustrated by the Swans' kick to hand pass ratio. They've had 50 kicks, 40 hand passes. They come 15th on handballs on the league table. They're a team that prefers to kick. Collingwood's pressure is forcing them to hand pass and not allowing them to play their natural game. Big crowd around the footy. Everett and Fraser sharing it. Big Swan got more of it. O'Keefe. Now Matthews taking it wide for Hall or Goods or the boundary line.
Super effort by Heath Shaw to get a spoil on that. Goods was in the box seat. And just see he got his hands on the footy without giving away a free kick. Wonderful defensive play.
Good ruck work again, Everett, but the Swans can't make the clearance. Now Clark just swinging at it as Buchanan dived in. There'll be a ball up. Sydney in trouble here, and their big band of supporters in the Harbour City flummoxed by it all. Almost a kick in danger, but the kick was a little earlier than the dive, I fancy. Here's O'Brien for the Magpies. Just having to control the kick around the boundary. Cloak well tackled by Kirk.
You've got to admire this Collingwood team, Luke. They just never give up. There's so much more experience out there against them, but they play with enthusiasm, energy, and they are an extremely well-drilled team.
Yeah, spot on, Wolsey. The best performed side with what they've had on the park this year. There's no doubt about that.
Totally undaunted too, aren't they, at the moment? Matthews just bracing for the contact, and they're getting it regularly at the moment. Advantage this time is paid. Malcheski, that's a bullet. And O'Loughlin didn't do enough to be paid the mark. Look at Wakeland. He's going. He didn't know how to stop there. But he adjusted himself superbly and finds Burns, who was going to give for Didak, who was flashing past. Cloak leading up as he always does. Rocker calls for it longer. Burns goes wide for Didak. Ablett at his trail. Rocker says, kick it over my head. I've got the feel for it. Oh, he's got the taste for it. Anthony Rocker. What an amazing mark.
I am so pleased there was no free kick against Rocker for hanging early or getting into that. You see Leo Barry.
Well, he didn't use his hands, Wolsey.
Leo Barry just tried to block the run of Rocker. Gee, you've got to pay that.
No question.
Don't say he used his hands, Hutto.
No, he didn't.
Oh, that's good.
He absolutely, KB would have loved that. That's what he's on about. That is a fantastic mark from Anthony Rocker.
Have a look at the look at Leo Barry. They're a bit dispirited, the Swans.
And that will only make them all. Yeah, it's home, it's a goal, it'll only make them feel worse.
Magnificent mark and goal by Rocker. His third goal gives Collingwood a 29-point lead. Stunning performance so far from the Magpies. Swans with a lot to do, and they won't do it immediately because Collingwood's tackling is so good.
Craig Bolton now playing on Didac, and I would think Didac's agility would be a bit of a worry.
Everett beaten by Fraser this time, gaining meterage for Collingwood. Ted Richards needs to be clean here, and now needs to find a target. Has to go back inboard. Kirk. Collingwood's midfield having the better of Sydney so far, though. The Swans engine room hasn't been able to go to work. Barry hesitant, untidy. Fosdyke puts that out in front of Malcheski. Good runner out of defence. Good kick. Bevan mown down by Leon Davis, and the kick as a result is poor.
Well, Anthony Rocker, 3 goals. Barry Hall, none.
Looks like the Swans are just trying to play on a little bit at the moment, but still this those ground conditions you talked about, Wallsy, there's no doubt they just don't seem to be handling it as well as the Magpies. Heath Shaw and Johnson sliding along the wing. Not a great kick. There's a whistle here.
Running, guys.
Out of bounds.
No, you're right.
Good warm-looking headgear.
This will be a good contest in the ruck. Not so much in the ruck contest itself, but around the ground, Josh Fraser will try to run Spider off his legs.
Again, Pendlebury loves to just cleanly win from the contest, and he can motor when the occasion calls for it. Wasn't a kick to advantage on that occasion, but now, Dale Thomas, keep your feet and you will be rewarded.
And a terrific lesson here for Malcheski. If you decide to dive and go to ground, you have to take the mark, because once you hit the ground, you're out of the contest. He went the diving mark, missed it, and out of the contest, Thomas took full advantage.
Are we witnessing a changing of the guard? A youthful, vibrant Collingwood running Sydney ragged for the time being. Now Adam Goods tries to halt the momentum. And Ablett somehow got out of a pocket and delivers pretty well, but Lacuria nearly stole it. Grundy, good. Fosdyke now. And Sydney can press. They still have only 1 goal. Oh, O'Keefe, a beauty! Superbly judged.
You know, Luke, maybe this might be something that Sydney will take notice of, that you can't get the perfect pass all the time, that sometimes you do need to kick it to a contest and give your players a chance to use their flair.
Yeah, it's a good point, Walls. It took something special. It was an outstanding mark from Ryan O'Keefe, and he won't miss.
They have 1 goal and 1 rushed behind. O'Keefe kicks their second.
Sydney have got 6 forwards, but you can see they're making space at the centre half forward area. So they've got their 6 forwards back. They can lead into that space. It also means if they get the centre break, the Swans, their running players can run forward and carry the footy.
Kirk out of the middle. Maybe the Swans will get a lift, but the Magpies certainly aren't going to stop, as Burns shows. Again, it's Thomas and Malcheski, and all the advantage so far has been to Thomas. Johnson did dive on it, but he knew that he had to get rid of it, and that's well thought through by Didac. Just adjusted the kick.
Well, that's what you call vision, and Didac had it, received the handball, and in half a second knew, I've got a teammate, I won't bomb away, pulled the kick. Smart footballer.
That looks a lot easier than it actually is. I mean, the poise it takes under pressure when you're expecting to get tackled, to be able to pull the kick, very clever play.
Well, they lead by 5, but you know that the Swans will keep coming, so they have to be more accurate than that. The Magpies now with 13 scoring shots to 3. And even though it's 30 points the difference, and even though it might be the changing of the guard, Tim, there's still a lot of time left in this match.
Interesting to watch this kick out, Hardy, because Sydney are normally almost impossible to man up because they block so well for each other. They get this kick very easily normally. But have a look at Collingwood. Goods is maybe going to get this one.
But he doesn't.
The pressure again, Tim. I mean, they're playing them one-on-one. They're running hard with them. They're not allowing them to get an easy mark, and that's
no, you're right, Luke.
Great bit of play.
They are off the boil, aren't they, Sydney? And that's because of Collingwood.
Richards and Jolly, the second stringers. Clark did well to Davis. Sprayed the kick, but it bounced inside, which isn't too bad a result for the Magpies. Collingwood by 30 points. Fierce pressure on Davis. Coming from Bevan.
Good shot there. You can see Sydney's got no one in their forward half.
Richards the hand on the ball, but Kirk saw it coming. Couldn't escape. Bevan turned back into trouble. Schneider, Schmidt. Craig Bolton now. But there's still hesitancy about the Swans. Not a bad ball to the wing. O'Loughlin having to come a long way from home, his natural home. Bouncing at Fort Wakeland. Needed to be surer than that. Barry Hall can't escape that paddock. O'Keefe, cleverly done by Goldsack. And now Heath Shaw's a chance. Shaw hands, good acceleration. Long ball, Thomas and Malcheski. Thomas, moral victory there. Malcheski, though, wins the battle.
Gee, Dale Thomas knows how to use the body in marking contests. Even though he's smaller than his opponents, he knows how to get a hip into his opponent just to take them under the footy. Have a look at that.
Malcheski's had more of the footy than Thomas, 9-6, but Thomas has been the more dangerous. Cox versus McVeigh and Goods and Holland. Maxwell, Lockyer, O'Loughlin and Goldsack. Hasn't he impressed Grundy? He was just there to take and he took him down.
Tyson Goldsack is just having a superb first half of the game. He's playing on Michael O'Loughlin, who is one of the great forwards in the competition, and he's just done an outstanding job so far.
Goldsack had conceded 7 goals in his 4 matches, but hasn't given them a sniff tonight. Richards. There's Bolton.
Came out. Got his hands.
Lockyer in the back.
Tarka Lockyer. No advantage.
Do you know what Goldsack's nickname is, Hutto?
You tell me, Rob.
Moneybags.
Fair enough.
Hours of thought went into it.
Malcheski this time left Thomas and went for O'Brien. McVeigh. Thomas still not out of it. Kirk. Swan. And Pendlebury with a quick give. Cox. This is Stanley. Back for Pendlebury. Second effort. Almost good enough. Play on. Cox. Kirk. Malcheski. Trying to generate some run. You can see that. But the Magpies are just about impenetrable at the moment. The margin is still 30. Halfway through this second quarter.
What a battle. 2 premiership coaches hard at work. Jolly wins beautifully. Fosdyke works it forward for Sydney. And Goldsack not able to get his boot to that. He might have lost the Midas touch. Matthews for Hall. Wakeland with him. Couple of veterans. Grizzled veterans, I'd call them, Hutto. Out to the line they go. Wakeland and Hall like a couple of old gladiators. And the Magpies win the day as Brodie Holland comes away with the footy. That's a dangerous kick, though, to nothing much. The fall important. Barry way up beyond the middle of the ground. Prizes it out to Matthews, to Fosdyke. Out wide now for Schmidt with Holland coming. Well done, Schmidt.
Cover for each other so well, Collingwood. After that contest, Wakeland and Hall. Wakeland was exhausted. And Maxwell got back there to cover for him. Ran 60 metres to cover for his mate.
Contest just gone up a notch, I reckon. It's been one way until now. Swans trying to hit back. Low percentage stuff from Jolly. Can anyone take it? Maxwell. This is Cox. Goods just sweating off him. But the handball was very constructive. Yeah, there is a Magpie player in a heap. We'll get to that in a moment. Dempster.
Bags.
And the ball is out of bounds.
Well, it was just desperation. Have a look at Maxwell, eyes on the footy, and Goldsack as well. Well, they're desperate.
You're meant to have a mat for that sort of landing. That was a Fosbury flop without the mat.
Didak leaves it for Stanley. Flat Stanley now.
You landed in his back, Leo. Simple.
Goods tries to get back into the space in defence as Leo Barry ponders what's been a pretty miserable night for him so far. O'Brien. Thomas is down there. Of course, Rocker just at the top of the goal square. He's got another opponent. It's now Craig Bolton. And, gee, no one really touched it. They're all looking at each other. Does anyone want the football? Richards, Melcheski looked around and saw plenty of red and white jumpers, which would have been a great relief, I reckon.
Gee, it's a good kick by Craig Bolton under pressure. He saw 50-metre penalty. He saw 3 Collingwood jumpers and 1 red one.
Get off him, will be more.
That's wrong, I think. Burns just went as hard as he could
he takes
to
the mark
try and
uncontested,
get there and make the spot, which has been the way Collingwood have played all night. And of course there was no stopping, but there was no malice at all. And I don't think it was designed just to stop play.
Yeah, umpire Ryan's call was that he took the mark uncontested. I don't know about that. I think Scott Burns was well and truly in the contest.
Well played, Wakeland. Good spoil. Good tackle, Schmidt. We do have a game. I reckon you're right, Hutto, about the intensity. Hall levering it out. Schneider, Matthews, Sydney desperate, but Collingwood with the numbers.
Yeah, well, Collingwood dropping numbers back just like Sydney do.
And Dane Swan, who's been such an important player in their resurgence this year, pretty quiet so far tonight. Goldsack is up and about. There's no stopping this man. And here goes Swan as the Magpies work into their front half again. And that's a free to Thomas. Pushed in the back.
Give it to him now quickly. Clear it out. Clear it out.
Adam Goods pushing back to fill the hole in front of Rocker and Cloak. You can see him there helping out.
It's coming now, but Lucuria was the path, and so it is pretty much one-on-one ahead. Although the Swans have got some extra numbers now. And Rocker's got to work through the maze, and he can't. You can see what he has had to overcome. One-on-one in the middle, Maxwell and Richards. Lightning stuff again from Shaw. Swan, as you said, starting to get involved. Lockyer's had a terrific year. Well done from Bevan. The timing much better that time. Davis, though, wouldn't be denied. And Anthony Rocker is having a night out.
Well, smart play by Leon Davis. Socketed off the ground. Knew if he bent down to pick it up, he'd probably be tackled. Have a look at this.
You know it's your night, don't you, when
you do
soccer off the ground like that.
Well, remember Queen's birthday, Luke Rocker had nothing going for him at all, did he?
He's had a few go his way tonight, and he deserves it. They're 30 points in front. If he kicks us, they're 36. You'd say against anyone else, you'd go into half-time and feel like you had the game won. Not against Sydney, Woolsey. They're still always in the game.
They've taken 9 marks inside their 50, Collingwood. This man's taken 5 of the 9. Sydney have taken 2.
He's had 6 scoring shots, and it's a 50-50 result for Anthony Rocker. 3 goals, 3.
Just about all set shots too. Only one of them particularly difficult. Collingwood by 31 points. And still that Swans kick to hand pass ratio interesting. Things could get worse for them here. Bevan buried. Incorrect disposal. Collingwood free kick right in front. Travis Cloak, though, with the most unreliable boot in the Collingwood front half.
Just enormous bit of play. I mean, you know you're worried, you got your heart in your mouth a bit, Travis Cloak, and his heart rate would be going through the roof now himself, but he just covered off for a teammate there, and a teammate couldn't pick up his man. He ran 20 metres and then dumped Bevan with that tackle. That is just the whole spirit that Collingwood have brought to the game tonight.
From set shots, 10-15 for the year. This is a big moment. 25 out, directly in front. His team in front by 31. Oh, big miss.
Oh, Tim, you jinxed him.
Well, I talked him down, actually, Rob, so I was
reverse psychology.
You just can't help some people.
Again, Sydney's got the huddle at centre-half back, but you don't break until the fella picks up the footy, boys.
4-6 from set shots, Collingwood. It's been one of their Achilles heel all year.
Bit of pressure on Melcheski after that last kick in that got intercepted.
Well, Fosdyke was the man he went for last time. More successful on this occasion. But again, the next kick, as they were going one-on-one, most of them covered. McVeigh. So even though the Swans have been more involved in general play, the Magpies have still had an opportunity to almost put them away. Bolton to the wing for Dempster. Barry Hall still labouring across half forward.
Well, Barry Hall has taken 1 mark for the game. No scores, no goals, no behinds to the big man.
Melcheski trusts his powerful left foot for Bevan. Matthews has made a good lead here.
He can play on too.
He can. Not a big goal kicker, Matthews. Goes for Grundy. And Ablett. And Maxwell there to clean up. There's Lockyer, who's been on ball most of the time this year, but he's very familiar with his work in defence. Look at Didak. Cloaks away, and he's far enough out that he should be able to kick the goal. If that makes sense. No, it doesn't. He misses. He got too close.
It made sense.
He should have turned
perfect sense.
Should have turned around and run back outside 50.
Hutto, as good as Collingwood's playing, it's killing them, missing these shots that should be goals, because you know that Sydney will come back. They could have buried the Swans here at Telstra Stadium. They haven't. Even though the scoreboard shows the big lead, they should be another 3 goals in front.
There hasn't been a goal kicked for almost a quarter of an hour. There have been some thrilling phases of defensive play. Both teams hanging on by the skin of their teeth. And well might the Swans hang on with anything they've got, because they're 33 points down. Goods, that's dangerous. They're making mistakes. Stanley, nowhere to go. Cloak, O'Brien, Didak running for him. The open goal beckons if it sits. He will find, no, he won't find a way. That is a great tackle by Craig Bolton. What a wonderful pro he is back there.
Hard to believe you're watching Sydney here. I mean, they just never, ever turn the ball over down the line. They're the side that you can't get it back off once they've got hold of it. And Collingwood, they're just stripping it from them on every occasion.
O'Loughlin. And again, Goldsack and Clark. Let's see how he goes with this kick. It's not bad. Better than most of what the Swans have been able to produce. Through the middle now. Stanley. High again for Cloak. And this time outnumbered. Dempster strides away. Not a high possession player, Sean Dempster, but can move well. O'Keefe, they need to get the ball in his hands a little more. We know how potent he can be, although he hasn't been. He's only kicked 6 goals for the year.
Maxwell back on Barry Hall. Wakeland's covering Goods.
And his time expired, so he's forced to go back. Leo Barry gave them the run against Hawthorn they needed. Don't forget Kennelly's out of this team. Melcheski, that's a good-looking kick. O'Loughlin propped. He's been quiet the last couple of weeks, O'Loughlin. Now Schmidt. He too is astray, and it's not even a score.
I think Sydney haven't been prepared to do, Walls, and you've spoken about it tonight, is kick to the one-on-one contest. They're just wanting to still hit the perfect target, and Collingwood's pressure's too good at the moment. You've got Barry Hall deep. You want to give him a chance one-on-one, and they've just lost a bit of confidence in doing that at the moment.
I reckon you've got to mix your game up a little bit. They are so predictable the way they're playing, Sydney. Have played this way for a couple of years. Other teams wake up on it.
Now, will Collingwood keep attacking here? We've got less than 3 minutes to go. We're seeing so much time milking these days, even by teams that are well in front. Collingwood have been thrilling in their all-out attack tonight.
Hope they do continue to attack, Tim.
Be great, wouldn't it?
Well, Melbourne kicked 6 goals to Richmond's 2 in the quarter last night. Then they decided to hang on to the footy. I don't know why.
The last 5 scoring shots have been Collingwood behind. Cloak! Oh, surely that was a mark. Oh, he had it 5 times. From here, love to see it again.
See, they're tough, Collingwood.
They will not stop working. They play to the whistle. And the whistle hasn't come yet.
No dragging in, no play opportunities.
Well, that was a desperate attempt by Travis Cloak.
Let's see if he marked it.
1, Barry hasn't touched it. 2, maybe a fingertip from Barry. 3, 4. I exaggerated again, but that was a mark, surely.
Holding there, play on.
Ablett. And it might have gone the distance. It did to Schmidt. Swans with a little under 2 minutes. Desperate for a goal. Just 2 goals for the night. 2 goals and a rush behind.
Gee, they are very, very slow to move it on, Sydney. It's all this little chip stuff.
3-6 to 1 goal in this quarter. O'Keefe now. Plenty of time if Sydney can find a way home. Ablett. And Collingwood want to hold.
17 scoring shots to 3.
Ablett centering, just getting the target. McVeigh. Golly, they've missed a lot of targets tonight. But credit to Collingwood. They've forced the errors. McVeigh goes wide for Richards.
This is the next kick that counts. They've got to get a spot up inside the 50. Look at Collingwood covering. Can they find it?
That's not 15.
Well done, Collingwood.
Nowhere to go, O'Keefe. Ball up.
Just great discipline, isn't it, from Collingwood? I mean, they're pushing numbers back when they need to because of the slow play. And Sydney are normally always able to find a target. They're able to get one out. And just tonight, Collingwood's pressure. And here it is again around the footy. They just are so disciplined getting the job done.
It was interesting watching it from an elevated point of view. It wasn't as if Collingwood had extra numbers back. It was all one-on-one. And I know they usually do spot up, but maybe a long kick to the goal square might have been a bit.
Well, that's what I'm saying, Hutto. They are so predictable, Sydney, in the way that they play. Opposition teams know what they'll do. I think they need to mix it up. The Adelaide Crows did it last week up at Carrara. They started to kick the contest and won a game of footy. And kicked a few goals too, which is entertaining.
O'Brien.
Oh,
been 10 years or more since the Swans have had such few scoring shots and a half. The Magpies might not be done with just yet. Holland, I wonder if Clark could get involved here. He's still a chance. The odds are against him unless no free kick. Swan over the top. Melcheski making pretty good effort there to at least make an effort to get rid of it.
The last time the Swans had fewer than 3 scoring shots in the first half of a game, Hutto, was round 1, 1996. They went to the Sheds with 1 goal.
They lost by 90 points that day against, it might have been Rodney Eads' first game as coach of the Swans, actually. Half-time, and they only have those 3 scoring shots. The Magpies lead by 34, but they could lead by more.
It's just been an outstanding first half of football by Collingwood. They couldn't have played any better. We went into the game and said, geez, their defence is undermanned, but Tyson Goldsack, some of these young players, young Clark there, the Irish boy on his debut, they've just played absolutely superb football. Their pressure's been outstanding, and they've got a great lead at half-time, Hutto.
They have. We know the Swans will keep on coming, though. It's a big Saturday night of footy.
And Andy, the curtain raiser to the big game at Telstra Stadium tonight between the New South Wales under-18 side and the ACT, or New South Wales ACT versus Northern Territory.
Correct. Division 2 game, Chris Oden. The Stars of tomorrow are on display. That bloke sporting the black eyes, pretty interesting, isn't he? Damien Hale, he's been in the news this week for all the wrong reasons, involved in the Chris Tarrant fracas, of course.
And Jason McCartney's also, I think, out at the Lost Ark in Darwin, that fateful Saturday night.
He was the peacemaker.
Now across to Telstra Stadium, and Tim Lane has a special guest. Tim.
I do, Michael. It's a great day for the Irish here, of course, with Martin Clark making his debut for Collingwood in his first year playing this game of ours. And sadly, looking on is Tyg Kennelly, who should be playing for Sydney but has suffered a couple of knee injuries. Tyg, the knee first, your situation.
Yeah, I'm a couple of more weeks away, probably the Carlton game, so hopefully I can get back for the Carlton game, maybe the Freo, we'll see how we go.
2 injuries this year, same knee, unrelated. They always say that. Is that the truth?
Yeah, it is. Look, I obviously rushed to come back. I came back probably 2 or 3 weeks before I should have with the first dislocation of the kneecap, but it didn't help. The kneecap was probably the knee was probably a bit weak, and then to get to tackle again, it's just two freak incidents, and look, it's happened. It's football. Like I said, I've been lucky up to now, so I'll cop it.
Too tough for your own good. What about the Swans? I mean, this is extraordinary. 2 goals, 1, and the behind was rushed. You wouldn't have seen a scoreline like this in your time in Sydney.
Yeah, no, look, it's very disappointing. I think our work rate's been terrible. Look, the boys aren't working hard enough, I don't think, and when our intensity's down, like, our ball use has been terrible. Look, we've been turning the football over terrible tonight, and that's, I think, a lack of our work rate. When our work rate's up and our intensity's up, we play well, and our ball use is well, and that's not there tonight.
Is this a sign, which we of the media will surely read into it unless we see a sudden reversal, that something of a dynasty is just starting to totter a little bit?
No, look, I don't think so. Look, the same thing happened earlier in the season. You know, we lost a couple of games in a row and people were saying things. But look, I think we're probably a bit rusty as well, and probably the blokes, we need to just get back to the basic things like we did against Hawthorn. You know, the first quarter against Hawthorn we were pretty bad and we turned it around, and I'm sure the boys can turn it around, and if anything, we know our game plan works, and I'm sure they will, and I don't think the dynasty is over by a long shot.
Are you barracking for Martin Clark in his debut for Collingwood?
I sure am. Look, I rang him today and yesterday, and he was quite nervous. But look, he's doing very well. Look, he's running around with the half forwards, Ian Buchanan and Adam Schneider, and he's doing very well. He's a tough little kid, and all the best. Now, I hear the telephone call you made involves some criticism of him for getting his head all over the newspapers and so on. Yeah, look, I don't want him to take all the attention, all my attention away. I don't want to be the only Irishman out here, you know. So, no, look, Clarkie's doing very well, and like I said, all the best to him, and he's doing very well, so he is, which is great. It is a remarkable achievement, and I gather even you are surprised by the rapidity of his ascension to senior ranks. Yeah, look, unbelievable, really. It was the second year before I actually felt comfortable kicking the football, you know, so it was, to be playing senior in your first year was just unbelievable, and for Martin to do it is it's mind-boggling, really, to tell you the truth, to see where he's come from. He, like you, is a great loss to Irish football. I've been reading some of the reviews about him coming here. It's been described as a disaster by Martin McHugh of the BBC. Is that the way it's seen over there? It is, look, very much so. Look, he was the Chris Judd of Gaelic football, you know, coming up under 18, and to see him go, it's a shock to the GAA, and it's a shock to the people at home. So, look, and that's what's made it more better for Martin to be successful out here, because he made the decision and now he realises that it's paid off. Very quickly, what about you? This is the first of a 3-year contract, which you've said will be the last. Yep. Any wavering on that? No, none whatsoever. Look, it's something I've always wanted to do, is go home and play Gaelic football and do what my dad did and my brother's done. So it's definitely still the plan, and we'll see. Hopefully, we can get another couple of premierships under our belt. To be very nice. Good on you, Tog. Thanks for joining us. Good luck. Thanks, Tim. Andrew and Michael, back to you.
Thanks, Tim. Yes. Legend back in Ireland, the Kennelly family. Todd Kennelly, can't wait for him to get back. You actually spent a bit of time with Martin Clark when he came over here last year on that 6-week trip. I'm looking forward to talking to you about that on the show.
We're going to talk about that in the fifth quarter later tonight. But we'll be back to Telstra Stadium very shortly. Half-time, the Maggies by 34.
The Half-Time Report, proudly brought to you by NAB.
Oz Kick kids enjoying themselves at half-time. So too the Collingwood players, 6-11-47 to 2-1-13. Why are the Swans struggling? Let's take a closer look with the NAB analyser. And Coach Walls, what are they doing wrong?
Well, they aren't getting marks inside their forward 50, the Sydney team. Have a look here. We see O'Keefe going for the short pass into the forward 50. The ball is intercepted there. Here's another one. We'll stop it there. And you can just see the Collingwood players coming from all angles to make sure that they get in front of the player who's on the lead. And they've done this repeatedly, the Magpies. They have been so disciplined in stopping that short pass into the forward 50. We'll just keep looking at a few other examples of it. You know Sydney will do this because they've been doing it for a few years now. Another short pass by Spider Everett, and Collingwood players quick onto the spot. They've been able to clear it there. And it's something which is really interesting, Hutto, because the Swans average 14 marks inside their forward 50 a game. They've only taken 2 to half-time.
Something else you've noticed about what the Magpies are doing?
Well, the Magpies, when they go forward, particularly in the first quarter, they just kept on putting the ball out here to this left half forward flank, and they were able to take mark after mark. It was a set play, the space was made, Collingwood players led into that space, disciplined, and they took full advantage of it. That's why they've been able to get the score on the board.
Well, they're dominating, aren't they? It'll be interesting to see what happens in the third quarter when the Swans will change their style of play. It's back to you, Tim.
Yes, Hutto, the acid is on the champions of 2005, runners-up, beaten a point in 2006. If they don't win tonight, they're 10th on the ladder into the second half of the season. You'd have to say it has been a coaching triumph for Mick Malthouse. He's having a good year.
He's having a terrific year. Have a look at this, though. They've gone with a tall forward line. Everett's playing in the forward pocket. Barry Hall's down there, of course. Michael O'Loughlin. That makes me think, Luke, that perhaps they will kick it long to a contest.
Yeah, we've been calling for it, Walls, in the first half. It's going to take a change of their style. They've got to reel and go Collingwood are still going to get a number back at some stage, but I think if they take the risk, play on, Barry Hall's good enough, and Big Spider, he's been a forward in the past, he can still take a big grab.
Craig Bolton still with the job on Rocker. Went to him during that second quarter. Sydney just 2 goals won, and the one behind was rushed. The second half is underway. It begins as the first did. A big knock from Jolly. Ablett helps it on. Goldsack coming back bravely. O'Keefe tying him up. Saying knock it out. His weren't the only hands on the ball, but Tyson Goldsack has been penalised for holding it.
Mark's here.
O'Keefe's ball. Out at the threshold. The man on the mark at about 48.
Yeah, as you can see there, Tim, I mean, it's Ryan O'Keefe is dragging that ball back in as much as Tyson Goldstack. We know the rule. You know you've got to get the ball out, but pretty hard when it's pinned to your chest.
O'Keefe has one of Sydney's 2. This is just what they need here. A goal early. They don't get it. They're 2-2. They're trailed by 33 points.
Shaw inserting them back into play very quickly. Brodie Holland, plenty of height on it. Thomas loves to leap, but Richards with him every step of the way that time. Pendlebury, don't really mind if it goes out there, I would have thought, but they do keep it alive. Attack has been their modus of operation for most of the night. Ben Johnson, O'Keefe, O'Brien, McVeigh, Lockyer puts it down.
Super tackling by Collingwood to win the free kick.
Lockyer, cloak goes one way, and that's where the ball heads. He got a yard clear on Leo.
Thanks, Leo.
Gee, he's just improving all the time, Luke, is Travis Cloak. Saw him down close in the warm-up. He's got these massive, strong legs.
Just a really good one-grab player on the lead too, isn't he? I mean, you can call that semi-uncontested, but you've still got a big full back bearing down on you, and to take those one grab, it's a great skill he's got.
14 possessions, 4 marks, 2 behinds. That's the important one at the moment for the Magpies. Another behind, so there's ratio trying to kick goals, not improving at all. It's 34 points now, 18 scoring shots to 4.
They've had a chance at half-time to reassess this, Sydney. It hasn't worked. You can see Scott Burns there as an outrider and one other outrider trying to stop this bit of play. Sydney get the first kick, but again, they're held up on the mark, and it's been a great part of Collingwood's first half, that.
Be interesting to see if Sydney play on more, take more risks. It's not the way that they like to play. They like to play tempo football, keep control of it. But when you're behind like this, you've got to take some risks to get a score.
Well, they're so conditioned to that form of the game that they play, aren't they? It'll be interesting to see whether they can improvise. They're going around in a big circle here, and they're still going in it. And now the circle's been broken. Cloak. Oh, it's a high. That literally was a hospital hand pass. O'Brien cleverly gives Clark a chance. Lucuria was under the pump. Did well to get it onto his boot. Craig Bolton taking it wide to nothing much. Sydney putting it into a 50-50.
Well, the ball is still in Collingwood's forward line because of the enormous pressure that they put on. There was a handball by a Sydney player deflected by Leon Davis, and Sydney just can't break free.
Pendlebury and Johnson. And Richards in position A that time, able to take the mark. But what to do next? The lockdown continues for the Magpies. Paul Bevan. But behind the mark he goes. McVeigh working hard for him to the outer side. Doesn't like that one. Instead goes for O'Loughlin. Goldsack just trailing.
Goldie, home!
It's interesting, at the other end of the ground, Wakeland's playing 20 metres in front of Barry Hall. So too are the other. You have a look at that. That is just the confidence that they've got. That frustrates a forward because he knows when he leads, he's going to have to lead 30 metres to get in front.
Schneider, Clark, Lockyer. Swan applying the tackle. And a bounce.
Well, the question, Rob, regarding the Swans, are they a one-trick pony?
Well, you'd have to say at this stage they are, because they're not playing on quickly. They've taken 12 more marks than Collingwood, but they are slow, and it's You would think they'd get it quick into their own forward line because of the inexperienced Collingwood defence. We spoke about that before the game, the inexperienced Collingwood defenders. Now, they haven't been sorted out or tested because Sydney's not prepared to play on quickly and kick it long to a contest situation. You've got to have a few more tricks than just one. We mentioned that Adelaide have gone that way. The Kangaroos are kicking it long to contest. We've seen Collingwood prepared to do it tonight on different stages.
Well, it's been a pretty good trick for them for a couple of years, hasn't it? So let's see what happens. Kirk.
But yeah, it has been, Hutto, but it also means that the opposition have a terrific opportunity to study what you do.
And just talking to one of the ex-Swans, David Murphy, tonight at the back here, or listening to him chat, he said, made an interesting point that opposition teams really prepare themselves for Sydney, and they know they're going to have a massive struggle and have to work so hard at the contest.
Yeah, that's one thing to prepare and do the work. It's another thing to execute it, Hutto, as well. And you've got to just pay full credit to Collingwood. They've had their 4 probably best defenders out of the side tonight, and to stand up one-on-one has been outstanding.
O'Keefe, numbers against again. And it's Shaw that takes the mark. He wants 50, won't get it.
He's out of bounds. He's got to be careful. Heath Shaw, I reckon he's a star already.
Yep.
He's played less than 50 games.
A wonderful season. Here's Wakelin, the captain of the defence. No Prestigiacomo, no Clement, no Harry O'Brien.
Yep.
Young Clark, left foot kick. His possession tally is climbing. Is in double figures, in fact, on debut early in the second half. And he's just chalking up a few stats right now. Runs confidently, kicks well, looks a natural kick of the ball. What a beautiful delivery, finding Thomas. Collingwood holding firm. Sydney making no impression.
Josh Fraser absolutely running Jolly and Everett ragged when they're in the ruck with him.
Thomas holds the kick. Rocker look for a free. Doesn't get it. Jude Bolton. But Sydney at the moment in quicksand. It was a good trick, Hutto. They won the big September Rodeo a couple of years ago, but right now they wouldn't win a maiden. O'Keefe behind the centre line. They've got to kick at least 6 goals to win this game. They're not looking like getting them right now, and O'Keefe's run too far.
Again, that's 50 metres.
Oh, Rocker might have given it up.
That's 50 metres because O'Keefe wouldn't give it up.
But you don't have to push him over, okay? Right, and just take the kick, okay?
Thank goodness the umpire didn't penalise Rocker.
As Michael Vozzo might have balanced out the offences, and that's fair enough. Rocker goes wide for Heath Shaw. If Collingwood kick the first goal of the half, and it's taken a long time in coming,
11 minutes,
just about over.
11 minutes into the second quarter, Tim, was the last goal of the game, and that was by O'Keefe.
Johnson took them on. Pendlebury, Lockyer, big curling ball, and well marked by Didak. Deadly Didak uses the right, kicks the goal. Swans are in deep now.
Didak's goal, the result of the 12th mark inside the forward 50. It was a long kick to a contest situation. Collingwood taken 12 marks inside their forward 50. Sydney just 2.
Been relatively quiet tonight, Didak. That's his first goal. He kicked 4 in this game last year and really set them alight early. But it's been a wonderful team effort. And they are rubbing their hands and licking their lips, ready for more. 40 points the margin now. Have the Swans got any answers? Ablett. O'Loughlin way up the ground. Fosdyke as the Magpies surge back, and there's Burns. Free kick.
Right, O'Keefe, you wrapped him up. You had the arm around his waist.
Barry Hall's in the square, and he'll get a chance to go one-on-one here with Wakelin. Then Wakelin continues to win the battle, and Heath Shaw and Thomas, the young lights of this Magpies team, which is so impressive. They are full of flamboyance, or at least a couple of them are. Sometimes it brings them undone, as it did on that occasion. Davis keeps on keeping on.
The tackling of Collingwood, unbelievable.
Just been really bold, Collingwood, haven't they? I mean, as he's called then, Hutto, Dale Thomas prepared to take the opposition on something that Woolsey's been saying to Sydney, take the opposition on. Here's Ben Johnson just before. He was one-on-one, took Eamon Buchanan on and played on. That set up the goal to Didac before. They've just been bold. They're prepared to take a risk.
Holding the ball. Sheila curious stiff there. He had to try something. He just about got it onto his boot, I'd have thought. Fosdyke takes the free. Now it's Bevan. Sydney still 2-2-14 with the third quarter well advanced. In fact, almost at its halfway point. Fosdyke. The 50s crowded and Collingwood really clogging the corridor. Sydney bring it in wide and then centre it. That's not 15. They're in trouble again. Goods Blazers. Is there much there? Oh, O'Loughlin was there but couldn't hang on. Jude Bolton has a go. Schmidt. Kirk. Not a goal kicker. Good centre for Hall. Wakeland did exceptionally well.
Oh, the man back here swung him down.
It's against Barry Hall because Barry is doing the block. He's frustrated, he's angry, and he just slammed Wakeland into the turf.
He's going to watch the ball. No, but he never made contact with you.
Well, tried a little bit of the old midriff jab as well. It's an old favourite.
Don't throw him down off the ball, mate. Don't throw him down off the ball. Mark,
it's a slam dunk.
Thanks, guys.
So Collingwood prevail again. Their defence has been absolutely magnificent.
Hold on, Nick. You're right there.
Now it's O'Brien. The midfield hasn't been bad either.
The inside 50s, 30-23, so they've given their forwards the opportunity. The only thing they've really let them down on, obviously, is the kicking for goal. O'Keefe's been one of the more prominent players for the Swans, particularly since quarter time. His 12th possession makes it tough for Hall, though. Kept it alive, didn't give away the free. Now Chesky. This is Pendlebury. And Clark, the young Irishman, goes again into the space in front of Didac. No free kick. Dempster was able to keep the footing, and then again his kick is poor. Still the margin 40. (7-12 to 2-2).
Play on percentage for the quarter. Sydney, they haven't played on once after they've taken a mark. They've taken 12 marks, Sydney, and not once have they played on. It is stagnant football.
Johnson. Didac. Dempster. Richards. We'll just probe it loose. Davis and Goods. Fosdyke. There's just nothing going for the Swans here.
Oh,
frustration there.
Nothing silly.
Darren Jolly. Once upon a time that may have been paid as a free. There was some high contact there, probably both ways. Now Adam Goods trying to break it open for them. O'Loughlin and Heath Shaw almost. And again, the man that kept his footing, at least initially, was able to win the ball, but it's over and out.
Just got to take your hat off to these inexperienced Collingwood defenders. Heath Shaw's played more footy than a few others, but again, in a one-on-one contest, they've just done an outstanding job. We've spoken about Goldsack and Stanley as well. They have been fantastic tonight.
Ryan O'Keefe, but he didn't make the contact he wanted. Maxwell with Grundy, Hall and Wakeland. Good tackle by Hall. McVeigh and O'Loughlin is on the end of it. Nick Davis and whoever it was earlier. And O'Loughlin is plumb in front.
It was Rocker. Nick Davis soccer to Rocker, and we see the soccer by McVeigh. And Michael O'Loughlin in front.
The traditionalists might prefer to think the place kick is back. O'Loughlin kicks Sydney's third.
Crowd trying to get involved. Will they give a yelp, the Swans?
There's Adam Goods. He's gone down to the goal square area. He's sure his opponent. Barry Hall right back near the goal umpire with Shane Wakeland.
Spider Everett in the ruck. Bolton. Goods and Shaw. Goods at the front. O'Loughlin starting to turn it on. Again, not the contact he was after. Barry Hall. It's alive and it's dangerous. O'Keefe. Now the moment passes, so does the danger. Cox's kick for Guy Richards, and for his 7th game of the year. For Cloak, who just works and works and works. Barry could have been penalised, held him off. Everett for Grundy. Hall's back in the square, but there's 2 extra pies in front, so O'Keefe may have been the man to go to. He's covered now, so it's Hall versus Ford. He dropped it. He dropped it. I thought he put hands in the back anyway, but the umpire didn't.
I'll tell you what, he's having a crack, Barry. Good on him.
You'd expect nothing else. Fosdyke. And again, it's Heath Shaw with the anticipation.
He was up high, Barry. We'll have a look at it later. That was a beauty, Luke.
Yeah, it was a great effort. I mean, his work rate, Walls, you've been watching him tonight. He's working as hard as he always does. Sometimes the footy just doesn't come your way, and not your fault, but he won't stop trying, Barry.
A few minutes of grim defence for Collingwood, and there might be more of that to come. Leo Barry, an old-fashioned leaping Leo marauding run. O'Loughlin is there at the back. Goods is with him. Can they work a little miracle here?
Good
no.
tackling.
Heath Shaw.
Look at the
Goods down.
Collingwood supporters in the background, Tim. That's where the 10,000 have set up camp. Have a look at Big Bass.
He almost did enough.
You can tell his body's feeling well when he can launch at the footy like that. There's nothing physically wrong with him.
Maxwell, the big fist in there, and takes it a little further away from Sydney's goal. But Sydney are lifting. Signs are better for the home team, but the margin is still rather daunting. 34 points. Richards and Everett. Richards a hand on the ball. Everett the second hand. Schneider not a factor tonight. So a ball up. Collingwood's defence holding up. It's not quite a nail-biter yet. Then again, if you're supporting the trailing team, you're either biting them or getting a little weary. Heath Shaw kicking and hoping. Cloak. Jude Bolton. Teddy Richards. Here's Leo again. Away he goes. Now Schneider. Kirk hasn't had a lot of impact in the midfield. Dempster. Good ball for Hall and O'Keefe. And the latter with very sure hands. Long way out. Testing shot if he goes for it. He doesn't. He hopes for Goods. Second in line though. Bevan's there. So is Schmidt. So are half a dozen Collingwood defenders. Lucuria brought down. Got to be a ball up.
They help each other, this Collingwood defence. Heath Shaw just left his opponent back, prepared to take the knocks. Didn't get the mark, but it was headed towards Goods. And you can see Heath Shaw's courage to get in front of the big man.
They kicked to a contest, Wallsy, didn't they? A couple of times there, the Swans.
They did. And they're looking more dangerous, aren't they?
Yep, they look alive in the game, but
they've just got to get it open up this area here. Sydney players need to leave the area. It's just too congested for them.
Making a double change at the moment. You'd think they need to kick a couple of goals at least in this third quarter unanswered. They're circling right now. O'Keefe, handball and hoped really, and it proves to be hopeless for them. Lockyer and O'Brien carrying it together. Rocker presents target number 1. Here's target number 2. Not bad either. Young Stanley.
Well, Leo Barry now is on Travis Cloak.
Cloak's gone deeper for the moment, probably trying to drag Leo out of the action. He's sort of lifted them in a way, hasn't he, Leo Barry?
Some good dashes, Hutto.
As he did against Hawthorn. Now Dane Swan, the Magpies might come to us here, because they're pretty happy, I reckon, to be 34 points ahead.
Well, the Sydney supporters are booing Collingwood for this tempo footy. Sydney started it.
Actually, a little bit surprised that Wakeland didn't wait a bit longer, but it's been effective.
Hold it.
Sure.
Play on 15, play on bounce.
Ooh, interesting disposal from Clark. Look at that. Bold, brazen stuff from Cox. High tackle.
Barry Hall, he's playing like a man possessed.
Pendlebury tried to lure Rocker to the footy.
It's a great call, Hutto, because Pendlebury did the thinking for Rocker. Rocker didn't lead. Pendlebury saw space out in front of Rocker and put the footy there, and then Big Anthony thought maybe I better run for it.
Big Barry, you just see the frustration there, Wallsy. In the last 3 games, including his 1 mark tonight, he's just had 7 marks in 3 games.
Everett bringing it down, but to Lucuria, dubious disposal, and the umpire was onto it. Sydney's ball.
On your kick.
Just 1 goal to each team in 15 minutes of real time in this quarter. Who can break the deadlock and make the running in the dying stages of the term? Schneider for Sydney. Fosdyke. Just one goal in each term to the Swans. Collingwood aren't exactly going to kick the sweep, but they've done more than enough so far. Hall one out with Wakelin. Wakelin has been splendid for Collingwood. He can't have played too many better games than this. Maxwell for Didak, who knows how to use a footy, and he uses it beautifully to Rocker, who is within range. He ought to have a shot.
He should have a shot.
He kicked one from here on three-quarter time, exactly the same position last year.
Just kicked right through the footy. This is a good distance for Anthony because it forces him to kick long.
And this might just about break Sydney's collective heart. But he's hooked it. A clear miss, and he has 3 goals for. Collingwood lead by 35 points.
Coach's box trying to stay hydrated. Could get tense in the last quarter. 20 scoring shots to 5, and the mark.
You went way over. I told you where the mark was, and you went straight over.
Stanley, the offender. So Malcheski.
Play on, you mate, you.
Schmidt. For Goods. Hands in the back. Against Swan. Might be an advantage.
One hand on his back. Yeah, had one hand on his back. Play on now, there's the mark there.
Well, Swan let him go. Goods tries to get O'Loughlin or Hall. O'Loughlin ready to pounce. This is Bolton now. Had a little bit of space, more than he knew. Snyder. And it wasn't bad. But it's not good for Sydney.
Has a Swan ever given away a free kick to a Swan previously? Because that's what happened a moment ago.
What happened, Tim?
Dane Swan gave away a free kick. Adam Goods got it.
Oh.
Wasn't my gag, Rob. Don't blame me.
Yeah, they're ready to swoop, Tim.
That's a bit graceless, Hutto. Swan kicks towards Goods again. So again, the Swans share the ball among themselves. Ablett, he made a late improvisation there, and Hall just couldn't hang on to it. Clark to Lucuria. Collingwood continue to be bold. They did a beautiful. Didak won the wrestle, won the mark, and then broke.
Anthony Rocker's come in late and connected with Dempster's chin.
And it's happening all over the place right now.
Now this young fella is hurt. We'll have a look at it here.
You got the footy.
He got him high. The intention was okay. He had the shoulder dipped, but he got him high. You can't do that. The onus is on the tackler or the shepherder to tackle in the legal zone.
Swans are down a man here as he comes off.
Matthews, not exactly a probing ball. Everett, though, arrives. Judged it well.
Kick it long to Hall.
2.5 minutes left. That's where he goes. Wakelin's been frustrating him all night. Burns, well done. Quick hands to Maxwell. For the moment, Collingwood out of trouble. Didak, what a good mark.
Didak to the wing. Stanley. Oh, look at this. They were a man down for a while. Cloak on his own. He'd much rather play on than have the set shot. And that's why, finally, he finds the middle. Sean Dempster recovering from this. Here's a wider look at the Anthony Rocker incident.
Do you think Anthony's got some problems, Tim?
It will be looked at. I'd say that confidently, Rob, and I guess so these days. He might have a problem with it.
They're 4-8 from set shots, the Magpies. No wonder Travis Cloak played on and had that shot before. They lead by 40 now.
Burns, just such a wonderful player for Collingwood. Clark getting better as this game wears on. His acclimatisation rate is extraordinary. And now Rocker, just couldn't hang on to that. Thought he was about to give Sydney another problem. Schmidt, terrific tackling though from the Magpies. It was Cloak. Spillage though to Craig Bolton. And a long lead from McVeigh. Sydney 40 points down, close to three-quarter time. O'Keefe, Swan did well.
He did do well because he's on a class opponent in O'Keefe. And that's the beauty of Dane Swan. He can play as a midfielder, he can go out to a wing, he can use him as a defender on a quality forward, which is the task Mick Malthouse has given him now.
Kirk arrives at the contest late. Doesn't stop him getting involved, though, with that tackle. He's sure. Umpire said that's okay. Everett. Players dissolve around him. McVeigh back for Kirk. And again, it's just haphazard movement. But O'Loughlin goes to work. McVeigh had to try and bounce to his feet.
That is unbelievable pressure. It is unbelievable pressure because Sydney have been forced to go backwards, backwards, backwards. In the end, they get a rush kick and it's smothered by Maxwell. I don't know if we've seen a team switched on as much as this for a long time, Luke.
Yeah, it's spot on, Wolsey. They've just absolutely came to play right from the first bounce. Didn't think they could maintain this sort of work rate, this sort of effort, but it's a credit to them. They're young players. We've spoken about them all night. They are just sticking to the task, and they couldn't play any better, I wouldn't have thought.
Richards for Fosdyke. Now Malcheski. As they try to funnel the ball into the forward line, but Grundy it was, it couldn't take it. Shaw with clean hands, and Thomas still twisting and twirling, even when he's deep in the half-back flank.
Just got clean hands. He's a bit like Scott Pendlebury in the contest. They tend to be one-grab players, and looking at Shane Wakelin here on...
Look at this, Luke. They just gang up on Hall. There's 2 against 1. It's 3 against 1. They are just so selfless, that Collingwood team. Barry Hall's had a tough night because every time he goes for it, he's got an extra 1 or 2 around him.
It's been a big factor too, hasn't it? Particularly in this third quarter. O'Loughlin, almost. O'Keefe, he had a chance. O'Loughlin looking for the free. The umpire wouldn't have a bar of it. Swan, a dangerous kick. Snyder with the heavy bodywork to allow his mate Buchanan in and out. And that is just about over and out for the Sydney Swans. Three-quarter time, and the Magpies have been magnificent at Telstra Stadium. If they've got 10,000 fans here, they will be very, very happy right now, Luke Darcy.
Well, you just think the game's never over against the Sydney Swans, but that's as close as it gets because they outplayed them again that quarter, Collingwood. We spoke about it all game, right from the first bounce, Wolsey. Their pressure's just been amazing. They're tackling, and they've kept it up. See Paul Roos there just with his hand scratching his head saying, what do I do to get them back into the game? The only thing Sydney can do is just play on fanatically. They've got to take a risk.
It's a massive task ahead. We're back shortly.
The night promised something great. Martin Clark making his debut for Collingwood. It's been the Magpies who have produced greatness, pressure, opportunism, youthful vitality. And the Swans have never been on the right foot. Nothing going right for them. Collingwood holding firm with a weakened defence. The frustration starting to show for the home team. Nothing will stick for Barry Hall. He's taken just 1 mark for the night. Travis Cloak finally hitting the target, and Collingwood going to three-quarter time with a 39-point lead. The Swans have managed just 1 goal in each quarter as Collingwood have progressively kicked clear. And the game looks to be theirs at the last change, Luke Darcy.
Yeah, it certainly does, Tim. And you have a look at Sydney's key legs here. Adam Goods has played 78 of a possible 86 minutes. They've left him on down forward. Jude Bolton played a lot of the game time as well. They're normally high rotation. Peter Everett's had a fair bit of time on the interchange. But at the moment, Collingwood look like they've got more run, Wolsey.
They do, and you look at the key legs there. Brodie Holland, well, he should have plenty in the tank. He's only played about half of the game so far. Ben Johnson too. That's handy for Collingwood because Johnson and Holland, both good runners, gut runners.
Down to Neil Cordy.
Yeah, Sean Dempster was looks like he was recovered from that knock to the head. He was just jogging past me before. And Martin Clark got some individual attention from Mick Malthouse. He'd have to be delighted with what he's seeing. Temperature down here has dropped to 7 degrees, so that's another thing that Martin Clark would be enjoying.
I think the assessment of that Rocker-Dempster collision would be based on questions like, was it reckless, was it negligent? He did make severe high contact.
I think he's got some worries, Anthony Rocker. The ball was a fair way away, and he's connected with the player's head.
All right, we're ready to go. Still a bit of music being played around the stadium. It's been the Magpies who have rocked and rolled tonight, though. Certainly not the Sydney Swans. as we get underway in this final turn. 39 points in a match where we've only seen 11 goals. Hard to imagine, but who knows with the Swans. Johnson, head over the ball. You wouldn't expect anything else.
And Hutto, it's a 39-point lead to Collingwood, but in effect it's more than that in such a low-scoring game. When teams have only kicked 3 goals and 8, it just means that goals are very, very hard to come by. It's hard to see Sydney kicking 7 or 8 goals in this term.
Buchanan, Lacuria, O'Brien. And that'll suit the Magpies just fine.
And I just think Mick Malthouse, the main message at three-quarter time would have been just keep the intensity up, hit them hard, tackle hard, numbers back to help each other, and just deny Sydney a chance to kick goals in the first 10 minutes. If they do that, well, I think they're well and truly home.
Matthews.
And all of this would be fine. Mick Malthouse would be happy with this.
Normally this is Sydney style, isn't it? This is what suits Sydney. They love to congest sides. They love to just work you over with the amount of tackles. Well, they've got to find something new here. If they're going to get back in this game, they've really got to just play on at all costs, take a risk and have a crack, chance your arm.
Clark again. Thomas ready to, if the ball slips out the back, but it doesn't. Schmidt. Thomas still there to lay a tackle, and it proved telling. O'Brien for Cloak. Turned around the full 360. Oh, I thought he was going to play on them for sure.
Geez, he works hard, Travis Cloak. He just presents and works back and double leads the whole time. I mean, it's a huge workload. He plays that lead up centre forward role. This is coming up to his 18th possession. He's kicked 1 goal, 3. But I like him from this angle. He just, if he can kick through it, he's more of a chance.
He's in amongst his misses this year. He's nailed some beauties from tight angles from long distance. Then again, not his major attribute, I don't think. You're just working beautifully in your commentary role, Das. Bolton. And that's an ambitious kick, but a good one.
Now they're playing on. They've got to play on. As Luke said, they just have to take risks and move the ball on. That third quarter, they took 12 marks and didn't play on with any of them.
Schneider did, but he put Matthews under the pump. And that man Swan comes away with the ball. He's been the best Swan on the ground.
How clever.
Thomas knocks it on.
How clever was Thomas? He knew he was a sitting duck with his opponent coming from behind, so he's just put the fist up and belted it over the back to gain 20 metres for his team.
Still going with that joke, Tim?
Look at this.
It's worth pursuing.
Wolsey wasn't a big fan of it.
I'm not allowed to tell jokes.
Adam Goods by the jumper.
Dempster back, as you saw. Free kick to Goods.
Might be a reason for that, Wolsey.
Held him by the jumper. Thank you. Mark's there. Let him run, guys. Let him run.
Margin 39. Schneider will have another go to try and set something up from Sydney. That's a better disposal. Just too strong, though, for McVeigh. So it's another throw-in. Barry Hall, the man who Sydney rely on to kick goals, to really make it all happen up front, has had 2 kicks, 3 hand passes, taken 1 mark and kicked 1 behind.
He hasn't had a disposal in the last 40 minutes of play, Tim.
Kirk gets it out of the heavy traffic, and Hall at last is on the end and can line them up.
Well, that's the 4th mark of the quarter for Sydney. Obviously he's not going to play on because it's a set shot, but the other 3 they did play on, so that's a change from what we saw in that third term, where they just went back and were so slow after every mark that they took.
Needs to kick this. Oh, the confidence has gone. That was a very ordinary effort. Another behind.
Isn't it amazing, just even a superstar player, Tim, sorry about that, can just, when things aren't going your way, it can really just work over your head mentally, and things can just make life really difficult. He's worked so hard, Barry Hart. His work rate hasn't dropped off, but just at the moment the confidence is really struggling.
This is Cox. Back in the team tonight for the wing. Good reach of the arm again from Goldsack. Pendlebury.
A couple of smaller Sydney Swans players like Buchanan and Schneider. Between them, they've only had the 20 disposals. It's not enough.
There's the forward 50 targets, inside 50 of both teams. 10 inside 50 targets, Rocker, and 10 for Hall. Clearly, as we said before the game, that was going to be crucial. Rocker's taken 7 marks and kicked 3 goals for, and Barry Hall's taken just 2 marks and kicked 1 behind. It is partially the story of the night. Now, this is Bolton. It looks a bit more open in there, but the skills let them down in these slippery conditions. Look at Hall and all comers.
Look at Barry Hall. He's asserting his strength and presence. Good on him.
No, you're not there. His hands. Let's go.
And that's what he's done on night walls. He's really just tried, as hard as he always does. He's attacked the footy, but just for whatever reason, things just aren't falling his way at the moment.
20 minutes since the Sydney goal.
Right on the mark. Yep.
Barry Hall not enjoying a great season overall. He kicked 41 goals at this time last year, and he might have just done enough with that one. He's broken the shackles at last.
The thing about Sydney is, because they contain opponents to relatively low scores, they're never completely out of it. A bit like a low-scoring, limited-over cricket match. They're 32 points down, and there's still a lot of football left in the game. Matthews takes it wide. Oh, bad miss by O'Keefe. Uncharacteristic miss.
They can play. Sorry, Tim. They can play exciting footy too when they break, can't they? So they do get on a roll.
See that miss Ty Keneally, don't they? Just looking at that, the run that he creates from half-back would be fantastic for them right now.
Couple of big hits by Goods at the last two boundary throw-ins. Third man up. Now his opponent is Licuria. Licuria's just got to block his run here. You can see Licuria's thinking about it now. He's got touch on his opponent. Cannot afford to let Goods get up there.
Pressure not really mounting on Collingwood yet, but they can't afford to relax their grip. Buchanan shook the tackler well. Goods. Good effort. O'Brien wins the free kick.
Their tackling has been sensational.
That's the story of the night, really. Just not giving Sydney time or room to take liberties. Stanley off to Lockyer. Goes for Rocker. At the back, Licuria. Cloak leaning back with the big left foot. Offline.
Travis Cloak's had 19 disposals, which is the highest for anyone at Collingwood. And he's coming on in leaps and bounds as a footballer.
We will check in with Neil Cordy now on Heath Shawcords.
Yes, he limped off about 5 minutes ago. He's had a lot of attention on his calves. The Magpies could certainly use him out there at the moment.
Good spoil again from Anthony Rocker, wasn't it?
That's been the other story of the night, is just their ability to close space and their ability to spoil, and again from Anthony Rocker.
Been a lot of stories of the night. 8-14 to 62. 62 to 4-5-29. Richards. Now Schmidt. It's pretty open up there for Spider. He could stroll on from there, Big Spy, but he didn't quite have the energy on this occasion. He's going to go back and have the shot.
Well, he's taken the mark inside the forward 50, and that's a rarity for Sydney tonight. It's just 6 that they've taken against 15, and I think that's the story of the night, Hutter.
2 metres to the mark. What now?
Spider Everett then. He's only just given it enough. In fact, has he given it enough? He has. It's just tripped over the line.
Sydney's 6 forwards right back near the goal square. There's Heath Shaw. We think he's got a bit of a calf strain problem.
Cords, do you think he'll get back?
Oh, look, I think the way he's played, they'd love to get him back if it gets tight, but if the gap stays like it is, I can't see him coming back. You wouldn't risk him.
Did have hamstring trouble earlier in the season, of course, missed some games. Well, the margin is 27. It's the closest Sydney have been since early in the second quarter. This is the first quarter in which they've kicked more than one goal. And here they go again. Goods to O'Loughlin, who can line them up.
Super kick by Goods, pulled the kick. Was all set to go long, saw his mate on the lead and just gave the pulled kick, floated it in the air, and gee, good play by Bet. Have a look at the kick, just pulls it.
He didn't control it there, he controlled it here.
And they've got on top in the clearances in this quarter, 6-2, particularly out of the middle in the last few minutes.
Interesting discussion there we heard. The umpire pointing about the mark where the ball was controlled, because O'Loughlin is actually a bit further out than where we thought he might be. He's kicking from virtually on the 50. Big moment now. Everett almost. Well, the story of the night mightn't have unfolded just yet. Sydney is starting to come. The margin is 26 points. 14 minutes near enough left in the game.
If it does come, you can be sure we'll tell you.
Stronger, more experienced players in Sydney.
Yeah, that's a good point, Wolsey.
Yeah.
Could they tire the young Magpies?
Well, maybe. They've spent so much energy, Collingwood.
Clark, oh, what a mark from Clark. He's still got plenty of beans. And so is old Scotty Burns along the wing. Rocker likes the look of that one. Bolton, Didak, and Barry. Suddenly there is more run about the Swans. Oh no.
That is a ripper tackle by a ruckman.
Yep.
Not to give away a free kick and then to win the free kick himself by wrapping up. That is good play by Guy Richards. Look at the tackle, just pins the arms.
Well, Guy Richards, obviously not a big goal kicker, only 3 goals, 3 in his career. None for this season. In fact, hasn't scored so far. This just to steady a few slightly frayed nerves in the Collingwood camp. It won't make it. In fact, it does make it, but not on line. So it's 27 points and still just a lingering doubt or two.
Great tackle on Buchanan by Richards. Gee, that intervention of Clark at the other end of the ground when the Swans were pressing might be the moment that actually defines the outcome of this match. That could be the story of the night. Everett to Goods. And a few of Sydney's big guns are getting better. Schmidt. Oh, terrific smother and almost a clean collect by Burns. Lucuria. It's all Sydney back there. Big advantage in numbers. But Rocker comes out on top for the moment. Goes for Thomas. Oh, gee, he's a confident young player. And a very talented one.
The Scott Burns smother is the reason why Collingwood's having a shot for goal. Have a look at this. Have a look at the veteran. Wonderful football.
Face vulnerable as he came across. Got the arms close enough together. Now, Sydney had about 5 players against Rocker there, and yet Collingwood have come out with a shot at goal as Heathshaw is having another go. The night started with a Dale Thomas goal. If he kicks this will be the knockout blow. It's coming back. I reckon the Magpies are there. This has been a mighty performance.
You'd think they're safe now. 33 points, or they think Collingwood are safe. They're getting the early train home, and Joffa promised that he'd show the Swans fans how to barrack. I'm sure he'll enjoy doing it in the last 10 or 15 minutes of this game. Swans will keep coming. You'll know they will to the bitter end. Hall leads into the pocket, and Goods is there. They need to synchronise with each other. Hall stared at Wakeland. Didn't flinch. But didn't kick on line either. O'Loughlin, just for a moment, thought he might be able to flash through. Let's have a look at that reaction from Dale Thomas after the goal. Wolsey?
There's 10,000 Collingwood fans here, and they are just delighted. And why wouldn't you be? This is one of the best team efforts I've seen for a long while.
There's Goldsack, who's had a good night. Contained O'Loughlin early. Richards getting the first fist onto that, I thought. The mark's been paid. Rocker was in no doubt.
Could kick it.
Yeah, good leadership here too, Wolsey. I think the game where it's at, he's worth going back and saying, listen, I can kick the distance. I've had a good night. Go back and take the shot, and there's Joffa, the gold jacket.
Looking relaxed and comfortable. This will make him feel more so if it goes home, but it doesn't. Oh, Spider did it so easily. But it's defence at the moment for the Swans, and they need overwhelming attack.
Bolton's got that in mind. Well, that it's aimless. O'Loughlin didn't give away the free. Goods, a few party tricks through the middle, and it's a vacant square. The crowd needs something to cheer, and they can cheer that. A rare moment in the sun for the Swans.
Swans' third goal of this final quarter. Scoreboard looking a little more respectable, but still Collingwood with a comfortable break. O'Brien to Clark. He's pretty cool. It has been a distinguished debut. Out near the boundary, Burns, who distinguishes himself week in, week out, year in, year out for the Magpies. Stanley made a good fist of it. Didak there. Here's Clark again. Took on the Spider. I wonder if he knows what he was letting himself in for. Richards to Lecuria. Another behind. Martin Clark, 18 disposals, is number 3 on the Collingwood table.
We mentioned at the start of the night, Tim, they were devastated over in Ireland when he left. They just thought he was a prodigious young talent. He was compared to Ronald Dino by one of the commentators over there.
One quote I'll give you, Hutto. Someday Clark will join his brother John in the red and black of Down.
Could be the story of the night.
Barry Hall into full forward. Almost, but not quite for Ablett. And again, it's on for the Magpies. Lecuria won't be aware that Buchanan was coming at him, but he was able to get rid of it in time. Dempster's recovered. He's back out there. Here's Anthony Rocker again. He'll be in line for the TV tonight. We want to preempt anything from Rob or Luke. In fact, who's got the honour tonight of awarding it to you? Luke Bassoni.
Looking forward to that. There'll be a number of Collingwood players queued up. I don't see they've been just sensational tonight.
There's the attendance. The league chief said earlier today he thought about 65,000.
They'd be happy with that. The average crowd for this game has been 57,000, and it's become one of the most eagerly anticipated games of the football season.
Everett farming it down for Fosdyke. Bolton put his head down. Did enough. Goods. Fosdyke. Bolton. Barry Hall was saying go short, but just that moment where he hesitated and Wakeland didn't, you could see the result of it.
Well, Shane Wakeland was perhaps going to retire. He thought he'd give it one more year. And he didn't think he'd get too many senior games, but with 4 of their best defenders out injured, he's certainly given them great value tonight playing on Barry Hall.
Now Pendlebury, very much at the heart of things as Collingwood gained control of the match early. The Magpies by 27, a little careless there. Richards missing. Loose ball now. Goods versus Cloak. Goods getting his body there first. Barry, non-preferred. Cloak's got him. Collingwood's tackling, absolutely magnificent. And again, the Swans are brought to their knees.
No chance, Adam.
And the face says it all.
Bit of a concern about Mick O'Loughlin. Maybe a bit of a hip problem.
Coming forward in the tackle, in the back.
Sydney's ball.
Scotty, let him go now. Thank you. Doesn't matter, you're still carrying.
Luke Ablett. Just over 7 minutes left. They would have to kick 5 goals to snatch back the match. It would be an injustice. Collingwood have been superb. Fosdyke back to Ablett. The big pump to the 50. But Everett was led to the ball by Maxwell, who gives to Lockyer, and he's been put down after disposal. Free kick and advantage. Didak, deadly disposal. Good spoil by Bevan on Holland. Great save by the Swans. Richards versus Thomas. This could be dangerous for Sydney. He is always dangerous. He is deadly dangerous. The Magpies are more than home.
And doesn't the future look bright for Collingwood fans? There's a lot to like about the now, the present, but these young players that have shone tonight, and you would think they will only get better. They lead by 33, and now they can have some fun.
Got his hands.
Matthews, Wakeland, back on his feet, and outpointing Barry Hall.
Barry, get away.
Been a great effort from Shane Wakeland tonight. He's had some support, but to play in front, he backed himself all night, played 20 metres in front and been able to just do an outstanding job.
terrific profile on him in the paper today. He accepted the fact that there might be very limited footy for him this year, but loves playing, wanted to play on.
Here's Swan. Nothing you want to add there, Tim, as he goes back to Clark.
That's it, Mick.
33 points the margin. Well, how much damage can they do this year, do you think, Rob, the Magpies?
Well, the effort and the closeness with which they play is just sensational. I just love the spirit with which Collingwood plays.
Great mark.
And you bring in players, maybe Buckley, certainly Reece Shaw, Clement, O'Brien, Prestigiacomo. It's impressive, but I just love the way that Mick Malthouse and the coaches have done their job with this team.
Didak. Goods. Matthews. McVeigh now sliding through half back.
You wouldn't want to play them in a final, Hutto.
Leon Davis. O'Brien.
What price a ticket for Sunday week's twilight game at Telstra Dome between Collingwood and Hawthorn?
About $36, isn't it? I'm not sure.
I reckon you might get a bit more for them on the open market.
You're not encouraging scalpers, are you, Tim?
Just a realist, Hutto.
Good tackle from Snyder, and it is rewarded. Here's going to be some game, isn't it? Now Barry Hall, almost some ironic cheers, perhaps given to him by the Collingwood fans rather than the Swans. Raspberries coming from the Magpies for Barry Hall.
Well, 65,000 came here tonight. Quite a few have already gone. Not Collingwood supporters, that's for sure.
No, they're staying to the end. There's nothing bitter about the end for them. Buchanan coming up with a behind that time.
Not since 1999 has a game between Collingwood and Sydney been decided by more than 20 points. If it was going to happen tonight, you would have just about put your bottom dollar on it being Sydney that achieved the victory. And from the nodding heads in the commentary box, it looks as though a few people might have done. Maxwell with the footy. We're in the last 5 minutes. It is a glorious night for Collingwood. A team really going somewhere. Sydney will be 10th tonight after 12 rounds of matches. And after consecutive grand finals, this is proving to be a troubled year. Good movement of the ball here by the Swans. Bolton giving to Schmidt, who goes to O'Loughlin. And he can line them up, but he's in some bother.
Great passage of play by Sydney. A succession of handballs, rapid-fire handballs that just broke the play up.
Now, next week they play Geelong, so it doesn't get any easier for them. Wolsey, then Fremantle, Carlton, and the West Coast Eagles. We'll come back to the Swans and whether you think they'll make the finals this season after the O'Loughlin kick.
Which is a little ragged, but it's good enough. Their 50's up.
Under adversity there, Michael O'Loughlin. What do you reckon, Wolsey?
Well, they've had 6 wins, but they've been against Richmond, Brisbane and Melbourne, Port Adelaide, Western Bulldogs and Hawthorn. So there's only a couple of teams, really good teams, that they've beaten. The other 4 of their 6 wins have been against very ordinary sides. They are struggling.
And they're under the pump again in the back half, but they've come away with the ball. Be interesting to hear from Luke Darcy when we get a moment here, because they cleaned up the Bulldogs at Manuka and they have had moments. They beat the Bulldogs and Hawthorn, both pretty handy teams.
Yeah, it was our worst performance for the year, no doubt about that, up in Canberra, and the typical Sydney side that's made the last 2 grand finals. I certainly wouldn't be writing them off. I just think that they've had a poor night tonight. They'll be going back and reassessing, but they tend to get it right pretty quickly.
Collingwood with a quartet of matches against Victorian teams. Gee, if they beat Hawthorn and St Kilda, that game against Geelong on a Saturday afternoon at the MCG will be something, Hutto.
Book your tickets, Tim.
At least you'll get one.
Nick Davis was a late withdrawal out the side. They've missed him tonight. Also Ty Kennelly, but having said that, they've just had a great record of getting their best side on the park for the last 3 or 4 years. They don't get many injuries.
It's true.
And
I wonder what difference Nick Davis would have made tonight. You wouldn't think it would have been enough to change the result.
Well, Hutto, you talk about Nick Davis and Ty Kennelly, and there's half a dozen Collingwood players who are out. So if you're looking at players missing, I think Collingwood's disadvantaged. This is just wonderful experience, though, for these youngsters in the black and white to play in front of a big crowd on the road and come away with a comprehensive win.
As the Magpies will be entrenched in the top 4 with their 8th win of the season. Just a game behind Geelong and possibly a game behind West Coast, who of course are hot favourites to beat St Kilda tomorrow at Subiaco. Just a matter of how far for Collingwood or how close Sydney can get. Swan tempting fate a little there, but he was under fierce pressure. Barry Hall says that was as deliberate as it comes. The umpire says throw it in. What do you think, Hutto? Umpire Hudson?
It doesn't matter much, does it now? O'Keefe. I think everyone realises that out of bounds on the full. This is called going through the motions. The Magpies, though, won't mind at all. 25 points. The margin 10-16 to 7-9. And we have seen signs this year of frustration from the coach, haven't we? The unflappable Paul Roos. Mr. Smooth, I think we called him in the opener.
Gets to you all eventually.
Of course, they've been 7 and 5 after 12 rounds in the last couple of years, so they are fast finishers, the Swans. They're coming from further back this time. Barry Hall is able to shake Wakeland for one of the rare occasions of the night, and I think Wakeland might have got some cramp just as the ball arrived. So this won't bring much joy for the Sydney fans or Barry Hall, but the margin will be a lot closer than probably the contest has been, in fairness, over the night, if Barry Hall can convert to reduce it to 19 points. Barry Hall has kicked just 1 goal, 1 for the night. Immaculate kick, but it matters little. Collingwood have travelled on a debut night for a young 19-year-old Irishman, and they have triumphed in extremely impressive fashion and won by 19.
Martin, first game of Aussie rules, of AFL football, I should say. How's it feel?
Yeah, it's a brilliant experience just to get out there with the boys and you know, get a win's amazing up in Sydney. Like the grand finalists last 2 years, just came up here to work hard and no one gave us a chance, and it's just amazing to come away with a hard-earned victory. 65,000 people. How's it compared to Gaelic football? Yeah, it's a bit different to some of the games I've played in back home now, but no, it's just a fantastic feeling to be out here with the boys, and you know, Collingwood have been great to me, and I hope I can, you know, repay them.
You picked up the skills so remarkably in such short time. How have you done it?
Just the coaches at the club and the players taking time out to help me fast track me, and here I am tonight. It's all down to the coaches and players at Collingwood.
Feel like you could be part of something pretty special?
Yeah, definitely. You know, we're just taking one game at a time, but you know, there's definitely a spirit in the squad, and you know, we can go on this year.
Well done, Martin.
Thanks, man.
Oh, he's a quick learner, isn't he? One game at a time in his first interview after the match.
I thought that was an Australian rules cliche. I didn't realise it went across continents as well from Ireland. But he's a really level-headed young bloke, isn't he, Tim? He thanked his assistant coaches, Alan Richardson and Brad Scott, and those sort of guys. He just comes across fantastically well, and what a great debut it was.
I think you could sum him up by saying he's just happy to get the 4 points.
I reckon he was the story of the night. I don't know what you reckon, but the Magpies have won by 19, and Mick should be very, very happy. Gee, the look on the face of Paul Roos in the middle of that story of the night package showed a fair bit, didn't it? He was perplexed, as we all were. The Magpies, what a great opening quarter, 3 goals to 1. And really, the Swans, other than just a hint in the third and early in the last quarter, never really threatened. It was certainly Collingwood's night here at Telstra Stadium. Leading goal kickers, well, 4 for Thomas. He's having a wonderful season and gets better and better. Rocker and Cloak, both inaccurate but very dangerous. Paul and O'Loughlin found the going. Extremely tough, but the Magpies got the points. The young man, I don't think he knew the words of the song too much there, Robert Walls, but the rest of them did, and they sang it with gusto, and it's no surprise. It was a fantastic win. We saw Essendon have a close win over Sydney a couple of weeks ago at the SCG. That was special, but this was even more impressive.
Oh, look, I was just blown away by Collingwood's performance. You know, so many youngsters in that team, taking on Sydney up here. And to play as they did, it was such an unselfish way in which they played. They gave their all, they helped each other. I thought their tackling was the best tackling effort that I've seen this year.
Now, best on ground, the Sony Bravia, the fantastic high-definition television, of course. It is a sensational LCD 46-inch full high definition. The LCD display gives viewing 10 Saturday night AFL telecast a whole new definition. Images in 1080 full HD standard, giving you the most lifelike vivid colours you'll ever see on a TV screen. And for your chance to own your own full HD player of the match, log on to 10.com.au/AFL to win great prizes. Robert Walls, I think Luke Darcy had the job tonight, didn't he?
Well, I thought Dale Thomas was fantastic. I thought that Travis Cloak was sensational. I thought Anthony Rocker was very, very good. But Luke Darcy gave it to Shane Wakelin.
They're going to hate you, all those players.
Well, Shane Wakelin did a very good job, and of course he was on Barry Hall, but he got a lot of support, but it was a terrific performance by him.
Well, that was at one end. The other end, of course, was Anthony Rocker. Now, he played very, very well, but this incident may yet have some ramifications on Sean Dempster.
Yes, I would think that Collingwood will be really concerned about that because it's a fairly late hit. Player certainly wasn't expecting it. The ball wasn't all that close, and any hit that involves a head is cause for concern.
Had to love the Collingwood kids tonight. We talked about it in the opening, particularly in defence, but all over the ground, the likes of Goldsack and Stanley, they were throwing their bodies. Young Clark, of course, we've talked a lot about tonight.
They were just terrific, weren't they? And, you know, to think that a young Irishman who didn't even live here 12 months ago can come over and perform as he did. Pendlebury's another. He's a smart player. He's going to be a star over the next 10 years. Dale Thomas, he's enjoying playing pretty much as a permanent forward. He kicked the 4 goals out of 10, and he's got so much talent. And Mick Malthouse and his development coaches in particular, Alan Richardson and Brad Scott, they are doing a wonderful job fast-tracking these young Magpies.
What about the Collingwood pressure, Wolsey? They set the tone right from the start, didn't they?
They did. They played Sydney at their own game, and the strength of the tackles, the purpose of the tackles, they won free kicks with their tackles. They locked the ball into their forward line time and time again with repeat tackles. Even the big ruckman Richards was doing it, and I think that's a beauty there. These 1%ers, the smother there by Scotty Burns and the wrap-up, well, Scotty Burns plays that way all the time, but they were very, very good.
They laid 62 tackles for the night. Barry Hall, well, the TV for Wakelin, but as you mentioned, he had a fair bit of support, and look at them ganging up on Barry Hall.
Well, Barry Hall's the go-to man, has been for a long while. I think Sydney might have to just change the way that they play a bit. They were able to kick 5 goals in that last quarter after only kicking 3 for the first 3 quarters. They just chipped the ball around waiting for the perfect pass to someone in that forward 50. Collingwood knew that. They got the numbers back time and time again. In that last quarter, we saw Sydney play with a bit more reckless abandon, kick it to contest, and they kicked 5 goals.
Magpies looking good, aren't they?
Oh, they are very, very good. I love watching them play because they play with so much heart. And there's half a dozen quality players that will come back into that Magpie team at some some stage in the next 10 weeks.
Yeah, they're doing the job at the moment on their own. A great night for the Magpie fans that ventured up to Telstra Stadium. We're back with more in a moment. A great night for the young Pies here in Sydney.